recording. And so what we need to do first, right, is we need to do the recap.
Right. Yeah, we have to use the Torchbearer procedures here.
All right.
Very important. Which is one of the reasons it actually has procedures. It's not just, okay, we left. The person that does this gets a reward, and you get to pick one. You can remove hungry and thirsty, angry, afraid, or exhausted, or you can restore 1 point of tax nature.
Ooh.
So in this game, you remember I was telling you can use your nature. If you don't have a skill for a roll, you can tap what you call tap your nature, and make a nature roll instead. But if you fail that roll, your nature rating will go down depending on the margin of failure. So it's kind of a dangerous thing to do, but it can be useful. Um, so do I have any volunteers for the prologue?
I could do it if you want me to.
Are you hungry or thirsty?
I
No,
am
no, I
both.
should
Yeah, I'm just
say,
hungry and thirsty.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
am.
Looking at the grind meter here, we just finished the session by going to turn 4, and everybody did become hungry and thirsty from the grind taking the fourth turn there. So everybody's hungry and thirsty. Breck is exhausted also. Oh, and we have Captain Jack with us now. Angie named him Captain Jack.
Let's let's
The
The
have
dog.
dog. Yeah, the dog.
let's have Lee do it because Lee is also exhausted, so that would bring him back to where we are, hungry and thirsty, because he got that exhausted condition after trying to heave all that stuff from the door.
Yeah, you guys made him do all the hard work.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Whoever has the most conditions should
Lee, would you like to
definitely
give a
do it.
recap of last session?
Could. I don't know if I'd be the best one to do it, but yeah, I can attempt to.
All right, let's hear Lee's version of what happened last time.
I don't know, man. It might be better if Kingsley does it.
You think?
Yeah, I think.
All right.
Just, I mean, I could do it, but I don't think I'll give it quite the justice the halfling will.
Okay, that's fair, I guess.
Breck's ability isn't quite in his language; it's more in the swinging of his axe.
Sounds good. Okay, so last session was the first session. We all met at the tavern and we heard about some sort of rumor that out in what was the name of the swamp? Oh, Loman's Folly. There's this swamp outside of town, that being the city of Griffinholm, where there is supposed to be treasure in the swamp, right, Dad? There's like some sort of there's something in Loman's
Yeah, some
Folly.
ruins and stuff, and rumors of frogmen.
Right, so we traveled from Griffinholm down to Riveri, and then we traveled onwards to this small little roadside inn that was sort of a midway between Riveri and Bogwatch for adventurers. And when we arrived at this inn, which was called the House of the
House of the Three
Three
Squires.
Squires, yes, House of the Three Squires,
You
it
put up a
turned
map.
out that the whole thing had been ransacked and there was an invasion of some sort. Nobody is around. We found blood in the main bar area, and after doing some
Scratch marks.
investigations, we found some scratch marks leading down into the basement, along with some weird, white scales? Some kind of lizard thing. Probably just a big alligator. Probably.
Probably.
Hopefully. Um, and we found no bodies so far. There's been nobody found, and there have been no corpses and no tracks, which has been odd. So we went down into the basement, and the first thing that happened was the stairs collapsed, and we managed to barely get out of that one. And so now we've been trapped in this basement. So we did some brief searches. We searched out this little side area here. The against the spicy smelling cellar, the wine cellar, where we found a dog, um, a, and a bunch of beer casks.
That's right. Pingsley has made sort of a semblance of a map down here.
And
Yes.
I named the dog Captain Jack, just so everybody knows.
Yes, it was a starving dog, and we managed to befriend that dog, and so now he's with us. We
Yes, and
managed to.
he is also suffering from a condition. He is afraid.
Yes. All right. Captain Jack is afraid. Of course he is. We'll teach him to be better than that, though. We made a makeshift ladder so that we can get back up into the inn proper if necessary. And we also managed to find this strange small enclave that leads into a natural cavern. And then there's this gouged door. I believe that's a door to the east that is covered in strange scratch marks. And behind that door is a room that smells like urine, but we haven't
Yes,
actually
it's as if
opened the door
someone
yet.
had dragged something heavy through that door into the room beyond.
Right. And
But that's not
so
the urine room, is it, Alex? That's a separate door that's in the actual like a. Didn't we just find like a room that we just kind of happened upon it behind the bookshelves, right, or behind the liquor shelves?
Oh, that's the room that we ended in. So
Right.
after we examined the wine cellar and we built our makeshift ladder, we moved through the wine cellar and we found there was a secret door, which unleashed a net upon us, which we managed to cut ourselves free of. And beyond is a secret armory. There's a chest, there's a bow, there's a bunch of weapons. We haven't opened the chest quite yet. And that's where we left off, deciding whether or not we should do something
Where
regarding
we
this
left.
chest, whether we should
You
do
were asking
something.
about a key.
Right. The chest,
Maybe we
the
should pause.
urine room, maybe we could go into and investigate, although that seems like undue danger. And then the natural cavern,
Where
which
we
also
removed the
sounds like
bricks.
undue
Maybe we
danger.
should. Maybe we should pause. Maybe we should all pause for a second and break out some rations and some food and eat and rest.
I agree. Was that a good enough summary of what happened there?
That was
Yes.
That
great.
was awesome. That was
Excellent.
yeah, very much better than I would have done.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
so Alex, you can for the prologue. Thank you. You can remove hungry and thirsty, or
Excellent.
angry, afraid, or exhausted.
I'm only hungry and thirsty, but not anymore.
No.
I've got like 3 stomachs, I think.
So now, I want everybody to take a look at their goal, and now's the time we want to decide whether we want to kind of tweak our goals a little bit for the session. Remember, these are goals for tonight's session. They're not overall life goals or anything. Just try to make sure you have a goal that either you can work towards during the session, or even better yet, something you can complete during this session.
I may keep mine from last time because I still haven't completed my goal. I will discover what deserted this house, and if it is evil, I will destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't destroyed anything yet, so.
That is kind of an ambitious goal, though, if you think about it, Angie.
Yeah, we don't even know, like, what the deal is. Maybe we can't destroy it.
I mean, like Lee, Breck's goal is pretty good because it just simply says, "I will bring punishment to those responsible." So the first thing that you punish, you're good. You know what I'm saying? For the session. Let's see what's Pingsley have here. I'll be sure to be the last one harmed by whoever or whatever ransacked the house or 3 squires. Okay. The last one harmed.
Okay, well, I changed
See
my
about
goal.
that. Did you? Okay, what is it?
I will search and, God willing, find beautiful treasure.
Okay. That's cool.
I mean, I'm attracted to beautiful things, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure that I would consider, what you find in the secret storage area beautiful.
Well, I don't know what's inside that chest.
That is true. At the same
think-
time, though, it's kind of gaming the system, making a goal that you may accomplish like within the first 5 minutes of play. But
Oh, well, I didn't really actually think of that way, but okay.
I mean, hey, man.
so,
Look.
and also,
Is it
so
illegal?
go ahead, Lee. Yeah, is it legal? Exactly. Is it reaching, as we say?
It's probably legal.
Yeah, I'll allow that, Angie.
Well, I already
Now,
erased it because I felt
well,
like I was
I
gaming
mean,
the system or
here's the
something.
thing. At the end of the session, we're all going to decide together whether somebody has worked towards or completed their goal. So it's not like a GM call or anything. I'm sure your fellow players will be nice to you. While you're thinking about goals, you guys also have the opportunity to change any beliefs or instincts that you may have if you wish. Um, so check your beliefs and instincts too. Now remember, for beliefs especially, you want to be able to try to use that. Uh, you want to play towards your belief in the session, and even better yet, if you can play against your belief, um, is even better. If you play
Well,
towards it, I think you get a fate point. If you play against it, you get a persona point. Persona point's a little more
can my
useful.
goal have something to do with my belief?
Sure.
Remind
Just
me
make it something
again,
that you think you can complete during the session.
what are some good phrasings for a belief?
Right.
Right, because I just put, if harm comes to any of my fellow adventurers, I will do everything in my power to protect them. Is that not cool, or is that too much like my belief? I don't know what I'm supposed to put.
If your goal should be something very direct, like I will protect Pingsley, hint, hint,
Mm-hmm.
hint, from harm, or I will, you know, I
I
will
will protect
use,
Captain Jack.
yeah, I will protect Captain Jack from harm. That would be a great goal.
So beliefs can be about your philosophy, your obligations, your loyalties, or your personal code, or your outlook on the world. And basically, you're thinking about what drives your character. What is your character's higher purpose? And you want to try. It says try to distill that higher purpose into a slogan or statement of belief.
Satisfied with mine.
Yeah, I think yours is good, Lee. That's just
Oh,
kind of general enough to be to kind of inspire your actions during the session. Um,
Or to hesitate and be like, I don't know if I should do that.
yes, yeah, and you'll want to do that at some point too, because you'll get a persona point for that. I'm going to explain briefly how fate and persona works before we start to
If I wanted to say
let you
something
guys have fun.
like I may be a coward, but I want to prove that I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
how would I phrase that into a belief?
Any suggestions?
yes, I believe I can overcome any obstacles in my way, no matter how big. Something like that.
No, because I want to be I want it to focus around the fact that I'm a coward. But I'm
It
trying
started out like, even
as an
though I'm a
Oh,
adventurer
coward,
to
I will blank.
adjust.
follow my fear and act courageously.
Yeah. Um my belief.
That's your goal, right?
No, it's not my goal. It's a belief. That
Oh, you
sounds
never did have a belief in there
I'll
yet?
give you some examples. I am the bulwark that stands between my friends and harm, or there's naught for me but blood and treasure spent and earned, or the wise consider all angles before making a decision, or keep your spirits and head high and good things will happen. Care and thought will take one further than reckless action.
what about like the strength of my friends makes up for my cowardice or something like that?
Okay, yeah,
Is that a good belief? Is that
I think so. I mean, just remember, you want to be able to use it in action.
Of course I can use that.
Mm-hmm. We shall see.
Okay.
Right, cat.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. We have this cool, awesome, excellent secret armory, and I happen to be a burglar, and I know all the tricks of the trade when it comes to being a burglar. So what I would like to do first, since we have avoided that net trap, is I would like to open the chest.
Okay. a couple more things to do here real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to show you guys something because all of you guys earned some fate points and persona points last session, right?
Yes.
All right, so check this out. Those rewards I was talking about. Torchbearer rewards players in two ways: fate points and persona points, and you can spend them to help you out in a tough situation, and they're also how you level up. And all of these handouts can be found in the index in the journal, which is kind of handy. If you click on index, there's a whole thing. This is under rewards. So to earn a fate point, you act on a belief, work towards a goal, or benefit from an instinct. To earn persona, you play against your belief, accomplish a goal, and at the end of the session, remember, we award persona and fate to those who are the most valuable player, embodiment, inspiration, etc. Now, down here, spending fate. This is what I want to show you guys. So you can spend a fate point for luck. And what that does, you can spend a fate point to re-roll any sixes rolled during a test. Okay, so after you roll, you can spend a fate point to roll additional dice for any sixes you get. And if you keep getting sixes, you keep re-rolling sixes, exploding sixes, as we say.
Ah, okay.
You can also use a fate point for deeper understanding, and this is to do with the wise. And this is one of the ways, the only way really, you can use your own wise to help yourself. You can spend a fate point to re-roll any single failed die on a test related to any of your wises.
Oh.
Okay. Spending persona. You can spend one persona point for advantage. You can spend up to 3 persona points on a single roll to add +1 dice to the roll for each persona that you spend, which is useful, right? You get that extra die. You can also spend a persona point to tap your nature. And by spending a persona point, you can add your nature rating to your ability or skill test, not resources or circles, though it may tax your nature. So in other words, if you're making a fighting test, you get your help dice, say you've got 5 dice for your fighting test. Well, you can tap your nature by spending a persona point and add a number of dice equal to your nature to that roll,
which
pretty
is
awesome.
A heck of a lot of dice.
That's where the heroic shit happens. But if you fail that roll, it may tax your nature, though, which it will reduce your nature by doing that. So it's kind of it's your call. And then you can also spend persona in relation to your wise, for your wise to help yourself, by using, of course, you can spend a persona point to re-roll all failed dice on a test related to your wise.
Wow, persona is powerful.
So fate is good, let you re-roll sixes, or to get your wise to help yourself by re-rolling one single failed die. But persona points are very powerful, or can be. You can either get an extra die, you can get those extra nature dice. You can use, of course, related to your wise. So let's look at traits for a second too, because this is, once you guys start getting really beat up as the grind keeps going, you're going to start getting a bunch of conditions and things are going to look pretty grim, and you guys are going to be thinking, you know what, I think we need to rest, we need to get out here and camp. This is where your traits will come in, because in order to camp, among the group you have to have earned at least one check. And when I say check, a check is sort of like a points that you get for playing your traits against yourself during the game. And each action that you take or each roll that you make in camp, to say make a recovery roll, to hunt for food, to find water or whatever, will cost a check. So to earn checks, you can either take a -1 die penalty to your roll to earn one check. This is on any roll you make. If you can say, I have this trait and I'm going to use it against myself, and kind of describe how you're using that trait against yourself, take a -1 die penalty to earn a check. In a versus roll, if you're going, say, in a fight or something like that, or if you're trying to convince a merchant or whatever, and this is useful for when you know that you just don't have enough dice to make to get a success on it, is a good time to use your trait against yourself to give your enemy or opponent +2 dice. And that will earn you 2 checks. So for example, say, I think it came up a couple times last session, where you guys, I think I forced maybe like a carpenter test. Like Lee, you made some like beginner's luck tests for skills you didn't have. If you have like just so few dice and you're like, oh, it's OB4, I need 4 successes with only 2 dice, it's not going to happen. That would be a against yourself to either take a -1 die penalty and give yourself 1 dice instead to get that check. You know, so you can take -1 die to yourself to earn 1. You can give your foe +2 dice to earn 2, and if there's a tie in a versus test, you can break the tie in your opponent's favor to also earn 2. And checks are mainly used for the camp phase. You can spend checks to recover, to re-equip, and rest.
And just to be sure, with those earning your checks, with giving your foe +2 dice or breaking a tie in your foe's favor, do you still have to use your traits for that? Okay. So you can't just like, okay, well in this case I'll just give him +2 dice. Instead it has to be something like, I'm jaded, so
Yes,
you
it has
know,
to be something that you can
obviously
justify.
this
Yeah,
fight isn't even worth it. I'm gonna die anyways. I give him +2 dice.
right. So like your traits are part of what make up your character, so that's what makes it kind of interesting. It may tell a story on why or how your trait affected you negatively. And I kind of skipped over the descriptions, but traits can either benefit you by adding a die, on a check once per session at this point.
And then when you get those checks, you use them to remove like stuff.
Yeah, you get to make health and will tests during camp to try to remove conditions.
Right.
Did we get any checks from our previous actions?
No, nobody has thus far. No one has used any traits against themselves to earn any checks.
But Lee did use his trait for himself, right?
I believe he did.
He does not get a check for that,
he used
though.
quick-witted.
Does he?
No.
Okay.
No. And at level 1 traits, you can use once per session to give yourself a bonus die.
Okay, so with quick-witted, you right. So with quick-witted, you could use that against yourself by acting too quickly, like too much, without any judgment.
Exactly. Yeah, quick-witted is a pretty easy one to use against yourself.
That's
like I jump into the fray, just as 10 more goblins show up.
Right. I see a point of advantage. I attack. Oh, it was a trap.
Heart of Battle too, Lee, is a good one because you're the quintessential warrior. Not afraid, heroic, valorous. You can definitely use either of those against yourself pretty easily. So,
do I need to mark quick-witted since
I think I may have already unchecked it for you.
Okay.
So you can use traits for your benefit once per session by adding a die if your trait applies to the roll, or you can use it to your detriment when you use your trait against yourself in specific scenarios in order to earn checks. These can be spent to help you or your friends recover. So I just kind of wanted to go over that just real quick before we start, so you guys know how to use fate and persona. Don't forget about them. One last thing. To reach second level, you have to have spent 3 fate points and 3 persona points. If you look at your character sheet at the top there where your fate and persona is listed at the top right, you want to keep track of how many fate points and persona points you've spent. Once you've spent 3 of each, you will have gained level 2. Yay!
Okay. Just a clarification here before we start. I see that Lee is exhausted. What does that mean by OB3 health factor in all tests?
No. Let's say that. Oh, in parentheses, it'll say how you recover from that, what test you need to make in recovery to get rid of it. So to get rid of exhausted would be an OB3 health test, which is pretty hard. So say you're in camp, you would spend a check to make an OB3 health test to get rid of exhausted.
Oh, and factor. Okay, a factor is just +1 to the difficulty of a test.
The OB. Yeah,
Got
the
it.
obstacle.
Got it.
So Lee, any rolls you make while you're exhausted, it's going to be +1 OB.
Okay.
+1 difficulty.
So if I try to become unexhausted, my health is 5. So what would I be rolling since it's an OB3?
Yeah, you'd be rolling 5 dice to try to get 3 successes.
I got you. Okay, understood.
Yeah. And players can help, I believe, on recovery tests. I'll look at that when we come to it.
I think that it has to be something like for example, merrymaking. I think I can use that to help with certain things. Like, I think it's very specific.
Yeah, man. Well,
Yeah.
just cooking good food and merrymaking surely would make me feel less exhausted.
Right.
Yeah, so there are ways to get help out, Lee, and get more than those 5 dice, to get the test to make
Gotcha.
the check. And one of the main reasons you want to go back to town is because they have inns, and hotels and shit, which kind of give you free tests without using checks to try to recover conditions.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep, but
That's good to know.
but it costs money. Those are resource checks that you kind of build
Gotcha.
build up in town. You guys all have zero resources. Your ability is zero. So first time you go to town, generally you're going to be relying on any treasure you have acquired for extra dice. And this is why treasure in the game represents dice, to make those resource checks you need to recover and buy stuff in town.
Oh my
I'm not sure that
goodness.
I'm not sure that you guys have earned any dice and treasure quite yet, but that's what we're going to do right now.
Hold on a second. There might be more to exhausted than we think. Um,
No, it just adds a factor in all tests.
but it also adds a factor if you are also using a shield, wearing plate or chain, carrying a full sack, casting spells, and certain spell effects. So if you're
That is
exhausted, it
true.
adds another op for that. Lee, are you using a shield?
I have a helmet.
No, he's got a two-handed battle axe.
Oh, right. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. Okay.
So what that means, there is on your character sheet, it says fatigue and recovery factors, when recovering from exhaustion. So if you're recovering from exhaustion, it adds modifiers or more factors here. If you've cast a spell, if you've worn armor, I don't think any of this will come into play immediately, but something to track. Like if you use your shield during the session, check shield.
It's
If
good
you
to
cast
know.
a spell, check casting spell. So we'll know that if you're exhausted, we'll know that there are additional factors, and it'll be more difficult to recover from those.
Okay.
So how about first thing? Because you guys mentioned that. Oh, Pingsley, have you gotten rid of hungry and thirsty
I did,
from
yes.
the prologue? Okay, well you can remove it from your token too. It's the main way I'm gonna track them.
Oh, okay.
The
Good call.
little vial icon thing.
Got it.
So you guys had mentioned that maybe you want to eat some food or drink some water or wine to remove your hungry and thirsty conditions for both Violet and Breck. So if you'd like to do that, you can do that now. And either a water, one water, one wine, or one ration of any type will remove hungry and thirsty.
Can
So if you'd
I
like to remove something from your inventory,
can I use cook on one of my rations to heal their hungry and thirsty right now? That's like
no,
one.
you can't. No, you can't cook in the dungeon, dude. You're gonna have to wait till camp to do some cooking.
Okay, that's fine.
Now, I mean, you could actually take that action during the adventure phase, and but the grind would go. You know what I'm saying? That would
Right.
cost a turn to cook.
Right.
I'm gonna use a ration, Sean.
Okay, and that'll take off the hungry and thirsty condition. And the way you can add and remove conditions from your token here is you just click on it, and then you click the little circle button symbol underneath there, and it brings up a little box with all of the icons in it, and you can click them on and off in there.
Okay. So, all right. So
Angie, I
then,
can't hear you.
yeah,
Are you
Mom,
muted?
you're muted.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay, so I just clicked on that little. I guess that's ration on my picture, and you're saying I need to remove that somehow.
Yeah, I just want to show you how to do it, so I don't have to do it all the time. If you just select your token, and a box will appear around it, and then there's a little icon underneath your token there. It looks like a circle or a button, not the gear one, but the other one next to it.
Oh yeah.
Click that, and a window will open up with all the icons, and just
Hmm.
click off the little vial. There's a blue box around it, so just turn it off, and that will remove the symbol from your token.
Oh well, I need to scroll down because I can't see. Okay, here we go.
It helps to kind of scroll out overall in this tabletop because there's a lot there.
I'm
Or zoom out
sorry.
on
What
the
do I? What the blue box with the other symbol in it? That's
Yes.
what I click.
Yeah, you click on the hungry and thirsty Yeah.
Oh, the one that was up
There
there.
you go.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
Sorry.
and you can turn them off and all like that. All right,
All
Lee, I
right.
see you did it too. All right, Captain Jack is still afraid. So one more thing before we loot the treasure, I
Hmm.
want to show you guys. I added some cards to the game here that can help track some stuff. I've got some weapon cards and some condition cards that we're going to use starting out here. So you see the decks of cards to the right of the screen there?
Hmm.
You guys have access to these. If you want to look at them, you can click the little choose link after you hover over it. It'll show you what cards are in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at weapons here, and we're going to give Breck his battle axe. I'm going to drag that out over his avatar at the bottom here. And then I'm going to give... Now, Pingsley, I noticed that you carried a hand axe.
Yes.
Any particular reason for that?
It's my weapon.
Okay. Well, if you look at hand axe, I'm going to drag one out onto the table here. Where'd it go?
You put it on the table.
Oh, it didn't. It didn't appear for me.
That's
Come
weird.
on.
That's a second one.
All right, let me reload this stupid shit. But the way you can access the cards that are dealt to you, you see a little card symbols appear above your picture at the bottom of the screen, above your avatar. If you click on that, it'll open up a little screen that shows you what cards you have, and you can click on your cards, and it will zoom in on them. Oops.
Cool.
I think I
You
just
can also click.
fired.
You can also press the Z, the letter Z, on your keyboard to pull up like a zoomed-in image of it, so you can actually read it.
Right, and actually, I forgot when I'm the GM, I can steal cards from people. So Lee, it's sending you a message that I want to steal your card. Just click X out of that, or click no or something. But yeah, if there's an icon or a card on the table like this one here, if you select it, you can press the Z key, and that will zoom in on it. So the reason why I'm asking about the hand axe, Alex, is because it doesn't give you any bonuses to combat, but it can be thrown once per fight, and it works just like all other missile weapons. It turns independent tests into versus tests. But note, after the axe is thrown, you can count as unarmed.
Yeah.
So as a halfling, and given your belief and goals and stuff about last being harmed, I would recommend taking a sling, actually, because a sling might be a more effective weapon for you if there happens to be any fighting.
Well, while yes, that is true, Pingsley has never been on an adventure before, and his hand axe, if you remember correctly, is his meat cleaver.
Okay. I'm just warning you that meat cleaver may cost you your life, son.
Well, listen, you know what? I'm good at this game, okay?
Okay.
Oh boy.
I'm not
Hey
gonna
Lee,
drop
did you
my
see some
meat
kind of strange
cleaver.
message pop on your screen about me taking a card from you or something like that?
Yeah, I just X'd out of it. Yeah.
Okay. Let me do it again. Do you still see the card in your inventory there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that gives you the stats of an axe, for instance, and the way these are here, and I'll just show one to everybody again.
I can select it. It's above my
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's just a way for you to kind of quickly reference
stats.
the stats, yeah. And I'll show you how they kind of work. I'm going to show this to everybody. Okay, so here's Lee's battle axe. Now, in conflicts, there's 4 different types of actions you can take. There's attack, which represents A. There's defend, which represents D. There's feint, which represents and M, maneuver, which represents M. So when you attack with an axe, you get +1 success applied to any tied or successful attacks. If you use the defend action with battle axe, you get -1 die on the roll. And each weapon's a little different. And it also show you, how many slots it takes up in inventory. But it only takes carried 2 if you're actually in battle. Remember I said you could carry it in one hand if you're just kind of carrying it around. So I'm going to give the hand axe to Pingsley here.
I don't know how to check my card inventory.
I'm going to give it to you right now. There you go.
You're just handing out stuff, or is this Something we found in the room.
No, this is stuff you have already, and I think
Oh.
Violet has a dagger. So now, Angie, you
I
see a
have a
little card.
bow.
You see a little card icon with a number on it above your avatar at the bottom of the screen there. See a little card?
Yep.
And then you can click on that dagger card to zoom in on it and kind of see what the stats are and what they do.
So 80 FM.
Right. So also, I'm going to go ahead and meet out the condition here. I'm going to give Lee exhausted, so as a reminder of what exhausted does. There we go. And he's exhausted. And one more thing. I believe Breck has leather armor.
Yes.
And does Violet have leather armor too?
I have a cloak. It says. I thought I had leather armor, not a cloak. Did you change my torso, Sean?
I may have.
Why'd
I
you
don't
put a
think you
cloak on
start.
me?
I don't think you start with leather armor as an elf.
I think that's what it is, Angie. You can't start with leather armor as an elf. I think you can with
Oh.
as a halfling though, right, Alex?
And I did. And I did. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna give you leather armor too.
All right, I'm good with the cloak. That's okay.
Okay. So, are we ready? Are we good?
Yeah. Hang on. All right, there we go. So now you can see what leather armor does. All right, so that now we got that all the way. Let us begin. Okay, so you guys find this sized room. This seems to be where the innkeeper kept his secret stash. The walls are bare, save for a rack that holds a sword, a bow, a battered shield, and a helmet. In the center of the room is a small, unadorned chest, and the chest appears to be locked.
Well, okay. First of all, would Pingsley turns to Violet and then turns to the bow and then turns back to Violet and raises an eyebrow, and I turn back
Yes.
to the to the um, to the chest and I pull out my handy dandy thieves tools and I get to work on the lock.
Okay.
Does anybody have a skill that can help him with that?
Right. That's what we're going to look for. We're going to look for help for helping. So I've got this little thing here. You can click on it.
Ah,
So
very useful.
it's going to be a criminal test. And scout or scholar can help criminal.
Okay, I can help you.
All right. How?
Also, any relevant wises could too. And Breck, I do believe you have criminal wise.
Hmm.
While he's looking at that, I'm just scouting the room and just kind of really taking a good look and inspecting the items, like especially the bow.
Okay, so I'm just getting
See
help
what I
from
can
Lee.
determine.
Well,
about
right
it.
now the task at hand is getting this chest open. He's trying to pick the lock on it. Maybe you know something about it.
Oh, and Lee, because you're criminal wise, if I fail or if there's a trap or something involved, you won't be affected because you're wise. Because
Yeah, using a wise to help someone kind of insulates you from any conditions normally. A twist can still affect you in ways, but you won't get a condition if there's a failure.
Mom, are you sure you want to help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, how are you
so
gonna help?
Breck knows a little bit about lockpicking, and he tells you right away that hey, that is probably the best lockpick to use right there. And
Yes.
Violet's an elf, so she knows a little bit about everything. So, Pingsley, it looks like you're going to get +2 help.
Okay.
For an ob2 criminal test.
Excellent. Okay. Let me go ahead and do a super roll here. What am I testing? Criminal.
Yeah, and remember, fate points and persona points can generally be used before or after rolls. Usually want to use them after, to prevent those catastrophic failures.
5. So,
Anybody who's helping use.
there we go.
Since could I use a persona or a fate point? It's gotta be.
It's got to be the person who's rolling.
Okay, I got 3 successes.
All right. So without much trouble at all, you're able to pick the lock. It's actually pretty well crafted lock, but you're able to pick it pretty well. Inside there are some bags of coin.
Oh yes.
Sweet. We'll need that.
Looks like a bunch of silver.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
How many slots worth of silver?
So it's 2 dice of silver coins. It's pack 2.
Oh boy. Oof.
Remember when I was talking about how coins work as dice in town? So even though you guys have 0 resources, if you need to make a resource check in town, you can use those silver coins to get yourself 2 dice. Yeah, it does take up 2 pack slots though, so more difficult.
We gotta drop some stuff, don't we?
We'll have to drop some stuff later. Let's drag him into
no, we don't, because what if somebody else comes in here and picks it up behind us? You never know.
Well, then we'll hunt them down like the scoundrels that they are.
There's basically a nice packet of silver coins, huh?
Oh yes. Cha-ching, cha-ching. So not to mention the sword, which looks like a pretty fine sword, a bow, along with a quiver of arrows, a sort of battered looking shield, and a helmet.
Can you tell me what I'm inspecting that bow? What kind of bow is it? Like, is it antique? Is it like not worth anything?
No, it's like a hunter's bow. It looks functional, usable.
Not as good as mine though.
I don't think you have a bow.
Oh, Dad, did we move the thing forward?
But I have a bow.
Take it and take the quiver of arrows for sure.
Why would I not have that bow?
Elves don't start with a bow.
Yeah, you have one now.
Yeah, but let's see. Where would I put it on? To my hands and get rid of my 10-foot pole and my hammer?
Oh.
Your 10-foot pole.
Get rid of the hammer. I already have a hammer.
All right, I'm getting rid of the hammer, and I'm getting rid of the 10-foot pole. I'll leave that behind for the bow. All I have is a dagger, so this will be 2 weapons I have. That's cool. All right.
We need someone with a ranged weapon. That's having someone with a bow is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got it.
So if we look at gear here, we might as well just look at it here. So let's see, weapons. A bow. Okay, can be carried in a quiver. So what's cool is you can like put a quiver. On your belt, and the quiver carries your bow as well as your arrows.
Well, where do I?
Wait a minute. Yeah, hold on there, Dad. Mom started with a quiver.
I know. I thought I did.
She shouldn't have.
What? It was on the starting equipment.
I think you changed my whole list, Sean.
Well, she may have a quiver, but she didn't have a bow. I did change some stuff because you had stuff that you weren't supposed to have.
But she did have a quiver, dude.
Lee tries to put a hand axe in his gear, and he can't start with 2 weapons. It's
Come
gone.
on, man. Come on.
Come on. No.
Axe and a hand axe. Come on.
Well, I scoped the room for a quiver because I need a quiver.
Okay.
Is there a quiver in the room?
Well, there is.
Dad, she started with a quiver.
Always want to have a backup weapon.
No, you're only level 1, dude. You're not allowed to have a backup weapon.
All right, can she replace her garlic and her belt with the quiver?
Yes. A quiver only takes 1 slot. It can be attached to your belt.
All right. Well,
and the quiver will hold your bow for you. She'll keep your hands free until you need it.
Well, then we'll at least.
About the arrows?
Can we at least pretend that it's a full quiver?
Well, of course.
Okay, so the arrows and the bows are in my belt, like in my pouch?
Unless I say so.
Yes, you have it on your pouch.
right, well then I'm picking the 10-foot pole back up.
Well, not. Hold on now.
Well, I never did freaking let go of it. Then I had
Not in your pouch slot. Okay. So on your belt there, where it says.
I already did it,
Um,
Sean. I have the quiver and my bow and my arrows all in my pouch belt.
no, but I think what you want to do though, the quiver goes into your weapon slot, I believe.
What?
Or
No,
no. I'm sorry. I
that
guess
doesn't
it
make
can
any
go into the pouch
sense.
slot. That's fine.
Mom, you need
Okay.
to mark that you're carrying the bow in 2 hands.
Yes.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, well, thank you. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Thanks. Okay, so I got a bow and carried, and then
Mm-hmm.
pouch with a quiver. Okay.
Yes.
All
Yes, you
set.
need to mark that you
Um,
have the bow in 2 hands, though.
Angie,
Got
I
it.
also noticed that you had a helmet, and elves aren't allowed to wear helmets. It's gone. So give yourself a hat or something.
Well,
I'm gonna have to be the asshole dungeon master in this game now and then.
I had Can't I wear like a leather cap or something?
Yeah, that's fine. Keep your head
It's
warm.
not armor.
Yeah. So what are you guys gonna do about the sword or the shield or the
Well,
helmet? You're just gonna kind
so
of leave it there.
no, oh no. So I'll walk up. I'll walk up and take it off the wall.
You
What?
do.
Is
Yeah.
it a single-handed or two-handed or bastard sword? What's it look? What's the configuration?
It's a pretty fine-looking longsword. It's one-handed. The shield is a little battered. It's seen better days, but it looks serviceable.
Does it
And
look?
there is a helmet there as well.
Does it look like we
Um,
can sell it?
oh, absolutely. Um, well, I don't know. It really depends. In town,
I have
generally
a package still.
generally merchants aren't interested in rusty crap, but you never know.
Well, a sword is a sword.
A sword is a sword.
So it's okay. So it's usable, and the shield's nothing amazing. It's kind of beat up, you say?
Yeah, but it's usable. So you could, decide, if you want to carry it around with you. I think a shield. Let's look at the gear thing again here. A shield has to be carried. Takes 1 slot. A sword can be worn on your belt. So essentially, Lee, I mean, you could walk around with your battle axe in one hand, a shield in the other, and then before a fight, decide if you're going to fight two-handed with your battle axe or fight with your sword and shield. If you keep your sword um, on your belt,
Right. And I still have my helmet. Is that correct?
You do have a helmet. No, helmets are kind of not too great. They'll protect you once and then they're damaged. I mean, but that protecting once could help you. Helmets get damaged pretty easily and lost.
What's this?
Or
What's
whatever.
What's this other helmet look like? Is it decent? Is it nice? What's the deal?
Yeah, it's like a leather helmet with studs. It's like a studded leather helmet. It's nicer than the one that you have.
Yeah, but I already looking at the sword. Who wants this helmet over here? It looks nice.
My helmet's nice.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
think I can wear a helmet. Is that what you're telling me? I
elves
have a
can't wear
head.
helmets. Their ears
Why
are too
not?
big.
Oh, our ears. Oh, yeah.
I don't
Gee.
know. They just can't.
That was a great explanation. Don't go back on that
Yeah,
now.
no, that's great. That was great.
I'm just trying to be polite.
All right. Well, I guess
I don't be
you
racist or nothing.
You don't want this thing.
Uh,
Can you wear a helmet?
I already
Halflings
am.
wear
I
helmets, right?
already have one. Unless you stole it from me like a monster. You did! You took my helmet! I get to start with a helmet!
Oh, it was because it was something stupid. You didn't write helmet in there. You put something else in there.
Look,
Stay out of our sheets, Sean.
you're a thief!
Breck walks up to the hooks on the thing and he pulls a sword off. He's looking at it, it's like, damn, that's a pretty nice sword. Like, much better than any you've ever owned. And he looks at the helmet. He's like, hey, either of you guys need a helmet? And Pink's like, oh, no, I have a helmet. And then he feels on his head and his helmet's gone.
I'll take a helmet.
I pitch him. I'm like, here you go, man.
Maybe I was just drunkenly hallucinating that I had a helmet on. Maybe that was just my pounding headache.
Yeah, so if you have any questions about like what slots things take, and I know I keep popping these screens up on you though, at the very top of this list, it'll show you the how many pack slots it takes up. It's under weapons there and stuff. So
What's
if you can
Captain Jack
carry it-
doing?
Captain Jack's staying close by you, and he's kind of sniffing around like a hound dog.
What's this
So-
question mark here, Dad?
I put question marks on things that you haven't technically searched very well yet. So we can remove the one here.
For
Do we-
belt, I'm putting the sword there now.
Okay.
Correct? Is that correct?
Yep, you can wear the sword on your belt. A shield you have to carry, but you can carry your battle axe in one hand. You just can't wield it with one hand.
Right.
So, going into battle, you would either drop your shield and heft your axe, or you drop your axe and pull out your sword, is what I'm thinking.
One real quick question under level, title, and benefits. It says in there, it says I can use a bow, a sword, a dagger, and leather armor.
Yeah, but I don't think you started with it.
Why couldn't I? It was on the list.
All right. I can do a 2-second rules check here.
I think
Oh.
Dad.
I'm just thinking that's more protective than a cloak.
I think
is,
Dad's
but-
trying to screw us out of our armor.
No, you gotta earn this shit. You guys are the lowliest of the low, man. You're fucking adventurers. You have nothing.
You know, we have weapons and we have some silver, for God's sakes.
I know. It's
Did
like,
we fit the silver in a bag yet?
you
I
haven't even figured that out yet, I don't think.
no. Okay, so here's what we have to do, guys. We're gonna have to just take this whole chest. We're gonna have to stuff it in a hidey hole. Maybe stick it in one of the barrels in the spicy smelling cellar, and then we have to. We don't want to keep any of the other stuff, so just stash the chest in one of the barrels, and then I had a great idea. Because we can use our instincts to basically do an action for free if it's appropriate to our instinct. I am going to single-handedly search the spicy smelling cellar because we never found out what was making the spicy smell, and my instinct is I'm always drawn to interesting smells and tastes.
Okay, so I guess while you're going out there trying to stuff the silver in there, I'm like at the doorway with the dog, and I'm just want to scout really good to make sure there's nothing else in this room that I'm missing.
So just for clarification, though, I mean, we can't. One of us can't ditch something we have and take the silver with us.
We definitely could. I just don't know if that would be worth it.
How many slots does it take, Sean?
He said it took two.
Jeez.
So if I have a small sack, will it fit in the small sack?
Yes, a small sack can hold 2.
But that small sack is gonna have to be it's gonna have to be stored somewhere.
Carried. It's either gonna have to be carried or it's gonna have to be put in a pack. And that small sack with the 2 slots of coin, it would take up 3 slots.
One for the sack and 2 for the inventory. So
yeah, I like your idea, Pingsley. That way, nobody will know it's there.
Right.
You know.
Right. If
And then
nothing
we'll have
else,
to
they'll
make
be
our way
distracted
back
by
to
the
our
huge casks
ladder.
of ale. Which is something we'll probably have to, jerry-rig a wagon to carry back to town the casks of ale.
Yeah, you can hire porters in town too.
Well, we're
Not
not
too
going to
rich.
take them back here.
I just
So-
hate leaving that silver, man.
So here's
Yeah.
what I'm picturing. Tell me if I'm wrong. Like the main room where the stairs are, there's barrels that we've drug out. We've stacked them. We made a ladder, makeshift ladder up so that we can escape now, right?
Yes, that is correct.
You have a hammer? Is that what you?
Yes, I do have a hammer.
Yeah, he does.
If I ditch my hammer and take a look at my character sheet with me, Sean.
Mhm.
Okay, so my backpack. So if I wanted to carry the silver,
Mhm.
ditch.
Right. You could use one of your small sacks.
Right.
Um,
Get rid of the hammer. What else would I need to get rid of? How many other?
well, here's another thing, guys. Don't forget, if you have a sack with stuff in it, you can carry it in a hand. Might not be ideal for Breck with his weapon situation, but one of you guys could carry it in your hand and just
I have
kind of
a
drop
bow.
it if you need to pull out a weapon.
I can't do it.
I would say either you're going to have to drop 2 things and fill them both with silver coins, or you're going to have to put it in a small sack and then put that sack back into your backpack, but that will take up 3 slots.
That's why I think we should just stash the silver in the
Because
spicy
this,
cellar so that we don't have to take it with us. I don't think this is going to be quite like D&D where we can just carry our treasure with us. We're going to have to pretty much, if we plan to go through that natural cavern where there might be enemies, we need everything that we can have to help us fight rather than be bogged down by the treasure that we find.
you guys need a bag of holding. Or
Yeah,
a mule.
a
Or at least some
mule.
porters.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a
Alright,
mystic
well,
porter.
I guess we'll go ahead and hide it. Where were you hiding it? In a barrel, you said? Or
Yeah, we
under
should
the-
hide it in a barrel in the spicy cellar.
I'm okay with that as long as you are,
I mean,
Brack.
if we want to make this difficult for somebody to find, would that take a check, Dad?
No, they would just have to make if anybody's sniffing around in here looking for something, they'd just have to make a scout check to find it.
Okay.
Angie, I gave you your bow. And here's what it says about elves, right? Starting armor: warrior, dwarf, halfling, and cleric characters begin the game with leather armor. Elves and magicians do not start with armor.
Oh, but I can later have it if I wanted.
Yeah, that's what you need money for.
Yep.
I see. Okay, I'm ready. Here we are.
All right,
Okay.
so Dad,
We're
with
stashing it.
with my instinct, it's finally just overwhelming. I can't handle it anymore. I'm searching the spicy cellar for that strange and wonderful scent.
Okay. The spicy cellar. So the main cellar area that you guys have the ladder coming
Yes.
down into.
Yes, that is correct. I'm searching it fully for the source of that spicy odor.
Okay.
With
okay.
my instinct, so we don't have to take a check for it.
Right.
Also,
All right. Well,
I get a fate
let's
point
do a
with that.
let's do a scout test.
Are they allowed to help me if it's my instinct?
Yeah,
Pathfinder?
Cool.
Yeah, they can help you.
Hey,
No,
do
it
I
is-
get to put a plus mark next to my scout when he unlocked that thing for pass? Do I get that or just him?
If you're helping, you don't get the check.
Okay, so I want to make sure.
The check for the skill, that is. And keep in mind too, kind of a more of an obscure rule, but maybe keep this in mind. I'll try to remind you if it comes up. You can use your instinct if it's applicable to help someone. And if you spend a check, which are the regular checks that you get for using your traits against yourself that you normally use in camp, during the adventure phase or any time, you can use your instinct to help someone and spend a check, and you will get a check for that skill as well, like a advancement in that. To get advancement in a skill, normally when you help, you don't get advancement. You don't get to check the scout skill that you helped with. But if you use a check, I know checks and checks. If you use a check that you earned by using a trait against you, you can gain advancement for that. So it's just an extra little
Interesting.
you can do to help yourself. But anyway, let's make this scout roll, and you get this free. So the turn's not going to tick over here. And how about an ob? You're trying to locate the source of this musky, spicy smell.
Yes.
Okay, give me an ob 3
Ob 3.
scout test.
Okay. Can anyone help me?
I'm gonna use my Pathfinder to help you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. Help for scout is Pathfinder or Hunter.
Mom?
I have, yeah, I'll help you too. I got scout.
Okay. And...
You know what?
Yes.
Captain Jack can help with that.
Oh my god, Captain Jack!
You know what, though? He's too afraid.
Oh,
When you're
Captain
afraid, you can't
Jack.
help.
Oh, Captain Jack.
Yeah. Captain, I decided that dogs can help with hunting or scouting, but he's afraid, which prevents you from helping. So.
And,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna use my fate. This is the perfect and pretty much only time I could use that.
Well, to reroll 6s.
No.
Do that.
I'm going to use it for my needs a little salt wise.
Okay.
Because it's not it's food. It's you said it's not like any other food that I've ever noticed
It does.
before.
Yeah, it doesn't really smell like food. No.
But but I have spent my entire life as a head chef, and I am sure that there have been times where I've been trying to locate spices and herbs by scent in my extensive herb rack.
Okay. All right. Well, this is something you would do after the roll because you never know. You might roll amazingly.
Oh, can
If
I
you're
do that
using
afterwards?
if you're using your irrelevant wise, it's of course, and you can spend a persona point to re-roll all failed dice.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm rolling how many dice here? 5?
Yeah. Your scout is
2. So I'm rolling
+2 help.
4.
And then
What's
one
the
more.
ob for this?
Ob 3.
Ob 3. And how many are
It's
helping?
not easy.
2. How many total number of dice? 4.
Oh, by the way, guys, a little interesting thing at the bottom of the chat box on Roll20 down there where it says "as," you can pick your character's name from the list.
Right.
It's kind of cool to show you rolling dice from your character's name.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
hold on.
2 successes.
Hold on.
So I'm thinking of what twist is going to happen or what terrible condition I'm going to give you. Are you going to use persona?
Can I?
Well, wait a minute. I thought he got 5 dice because he was using his instinct or something.
Well, he has 2 scout, and he got a help from each of you, which gives him 4.
I know, but didn't he get one more dice for using his instinct?
He could use a persona for an extra dice, but he was trying to use it relevant to his wise, which is of course, which would allow him to re-roll those 2 failures. You can do that, Al?
No, deeper understanding, Dad.
Deeper understanding, right?
I'm gonna go ahead and spend 1 fate
to re-roll a single failed die. Okay.
Oh Lord. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. What does this smell?
Well, where is it coming from is what he's trying to find out.
Can I do it again? Like, can I do another thing if I fail this?
No.
Oh, well then maybe I shouldn't spend my fate. Maybe I should do the persona for tapping my nature.
Probably. You want to make sure you hit it.
I do. This is kind of a big deal. Okay.
So you probably need to burn it. I mean, if you really want to.
Alright, I'm gonna tap my nature.
Oh, okay. He's using the big one, tapping it. By spending a persona point, you may add your nature rating to your ability or skill test, though it may tax your nature. So spend a persona point.
And I did.
Alright, and what's your nature?
6.
Roll 6 dice.
3 more successes.
Right, so you got 5 successes. Sweet.
Okay.
Now this is within your. Was that test within your nature?
That test, sneaking, riddling, and merrymaking, no.
All right, that taxes your nature by 1.
Okay, so that means my nature goes down to 5, right?
Yes, you have 5 out of 6.
And then, so once I reach 0 out of 6, I go down to 5 out of 5, and then, etc., down to 4 out of 4, and then 3 out of 3, etc., until I reach 0 out of 0, in which case I retire. Or if I increase my nature somehow by doing stuff within my nature, up to 7?
It is worth mentioning, yeah, your max nature is 7.
Okay,
then I would retire. If your character gets to nature 7, he has figured out how to live among like the civilized people. Is no longer an adventurer. He can get a real job. If you reach 0, you also stop your life of adventuring, but it's only because you're probably just insane or weird. And I've heard it described as someone with a 0 nature. They're so almost inhuman that they're too weird for the weird. So you have to end your life of adventure.
What's the max will or health you can get?
6. That goes for skills too. Okay, so anyway, Alex, that your lantern burned down. You get one more turn of light left in your lantern.
Okay.
This urine room here, where the gauge door is, that is definitely where this spicy, strange odor is coming from. It's unrecognizable to you. None
Okay.
of you have smelled this particular odor before.
I don't find anything in the spicy cellar in general, though.
No.
Okay.
Bunch of bric-a-brac and shit that Breck has strewn about the room, constructing the ladder and clearing the barricade.
I All right. So following my nose, I get up to the door. I
Mhm.
sniff, and I look back to my companions, and I say, "I think it's in here." And just as I reach out to the door handle,
Captain
I
Jack is looking up at you and sniffing too, and he kind of lets out a yelp, like, "Oof," he looks afraid.
I quickly snap my hand back, and I say, "No, I better not. Somebody else do it. Somebody else open the door, please. I, that would be nice."
Remember, guys, Pingsley's not very brave, apparently.
Is the door open in or out?
It opens in. Looks like it's been beat up pretty badly by whatever was dragged through here.
Is this the urine room?
Yeah,
Maybe we
there's
should maybe before we open the door, we should fill the lantern.
The lantern automatically refills if we
kinda,
have the
yeah,
oil for it.
sorta, yeah. I mean, there may be instances where if the turn ticks and the light goes out, if I
We fill
determine
it.
maybe, yeah, maybe that, yeah, usually you can fill it automatically as long as there's nothing bad happening.
So we
But if
fill it
that,
automatically right now.
yeah, but if that turn ticks and like boom, a fight happens or something, somebody, it
Something's
might
in
cause
that
some problems.
room.
So
I
can
can
we fill it
smell it.
right now without burning a turn?
Yeah,
Yeah, but then we're burning an oil and would be losing one potential fire. You know what I
Have an
mean?
oil.
this
I have an oil to burn.
that halfling practicality is coming out. And surely we shouldn't waste oil.
I'll use my last flask of oil. Yoop. That way I have a free slot.
Okay, that might be wise. You don't want to go without light down here.
All right, so who wants to open the door?
I do.
Of course you do. Go ahead.
No, hold on. What is it? She's got the bow.
Mm.
She should be. She should have the bow ready. I'll open the door, fling
Okay.
it open with the battle axe. You know.
All right,
All
I'm
right.
standing back with my bow drawn
All
in
right,
case.
Breck flings open the door, and Pingsley, you shine your lantern in. It's a cold stone room with wooden rafters, and hanging from the rafters are a multitude of hooks. Hanging on some of the hooks are like aging meats and game. Normally, you would see, some, you know, deer or, some hog or something hanging on these meat hooks. It's all now empty. There's a powerful stench of urine and animal musk pervading the room. Breck, on the floor to your left, you see a salted ham gnawed to the bone, lying there near the door. And aside from a clear space where the gouges and splinters show that something was dragged through this room, the floor is covered with rubbish and debris. Now, noticeably across the room, kind of at the edge of your light, Breck, you see a hole in the northern wall surrounded by rubble and earth, and it appears to lead into a natural limestone cave.
Which
Um,
probably
and,
connects to the other natural cavern.
and you judged by looking at it that the hole seems to be a fresh excavation, probably no more than a few days old.
Something's residing in these walls.
Is there a lit flask of oil down there?
Well, there's a lot of flammable shit in this room. It's like piled junk and rubbish and all kinds of debris in this room. It's very cold in here, and you can feel sort of a cool, damp draft coming from the tunnel across the room, the limestone tunnel. It looks like somebody dragged something through here into that tunnel. Something large.
Look at the scene. I asked Pingsley to shine his lantern up on the ceiling.
I shine it upwards.
Yeah, there's wooden rafters up above, and you can see the series of ropes and pulleys up there where these meat hooks are hanging down. You don't really see anything up there. Some cobwebs. There's
Just making sure.
Yeah, there's a little bird. Looks like there's a little bird nest up there.
I want to have some giant crocodile fall from the rafters on us.
Right.
Yeah. And as I said, there's a salted ham lying there on the floor. It looks like it's been gnawed to the bone.
I say it looks like that hole's going to enter right into where we made a walkway into that natural cavern. Maybe
Just to be sure, Dad, does this look correct?
If that's correct, how you did the map.
Is that correct, Dad, or does the hole like lead outwards?
That's correct.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Okay.
Actually, you should kind of put the hole over here because it's across the room from you.
What?
Wait, no. That's where
That's
the
the whole
loose
natural
wall
cavern.
was.
Oops.
I got it, Dad. Don't worry about it.
Okay. But you guys pause, and Kingsley's like holding his lantern up as high as he can, Breck, but he's still like 3 feet tall. I imagine you maybe like kind of grabbing the lantern a second to get a good look at the ceiling. As you guys are looking up at the ceiling, Violet, you think you hear something coming from the direction of the tunnel. Sounds very, very faint, almost like a voice or a shout.
Like coming out of the hole?
Yeah. The limestone tunnel that leads out, this natural limestone cave that kind of leads out of this room. There's like rubble surrounding it.
Like a human voice?
You think it sounded kind of human, yeah, like a shout or something. You can't really kind of hear from where you are.
How big is this tunnel, Sean?
Oh, it's a good 8 feet in diameter. Big enough for a man to walk.
Oh, wow. I thought it was smaller for some reason. Okay. I think we need to go check on where that voice is coming from. There sounds like somebody could be in trouble back in here.
Alex's map is correct, but there's no connection from the cellar.
What? Yeah, there was. There was a wall. There was a wall with bricks that we undid.
That goes in a different direction.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I'm confused because you said that was correct.
Breck, now you begin to hear sounds coming from the tunnel. All of you do. And it sounds like distant sounds. And at first, you're not sure, but you're like, shh, everybody listen. Distant sounds of agonized screams. And sort of a constant sound of like chitters and clicks and hisses, almost like insect sounds coming from inside the cave, kind of echoing out towards you.
I think
Yep, those are screams. They're very distant, though.
Look at the map. Can you help Alex real quick with the map, Sean?
Yeah,
because if it's not right, we need to know where the stuff is.
What are you doing? There was a natural cavern that was beyond the loose wall.
That's right. I'm
Why?
fixing your map. Hold on. Just chill. Just chill. Just chill. Oh. Something bad is about to happen.
Okay.
What the hell is that?
Well, I need control of the map here, Dad.
I think he's fixing it.
I just fixed it.
I don't have control of this.
So there are two exits from this cellar. From the 3 rooms in this cellar. Okay. There's a cavern over here going out of the empty meat cellar that you guys are standing at the door in here. And then in the previous room, in the cellar proper, there's a loose wall behind where the spigot was, going into a cavern down this cavernous tunnel. Actually, it's really more like a tunnel behind here.
It was the right choice. We need to take care of this problem before we.
Alright, can you delete your box, Dad?
Okay, yeah, I agree. So I think, do you want to
Whatever.
head in first with one of your weapons drawn, and I can follow behind you, or how do we want to do this?
Probably,
need-
yeah. I mean, probably me first with the battle axe, you with the bow, and then
Kingsley?
Hold on. Yeah, I will travel. What I can do if you'd like is I can sneak ahead. I'm sneaky.
Hmm. Oh, it's cold in there, Pingsley.
so you.
Kinda,
Okay. Holding the lantern.
Yeah. Well, I can give you guys the lantern.
Anybody would need a torch. A torch might warm things up, and give us a little more light.
that is true, but a torch will only provide bright light for two of you, and one person will be in dim light.
Well, we
Okay.
already
The
have
thing
a
about the
lantern.
lantern is you can set it down if you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys,
but even
would you
then, it provides dim light for everybody.
would you
Dim
like
light's
me?
a factor. It increases difficulty by 1 for everything.
Mom has candles. If you'd like, what I can do is I can take one of Violet's candles, and I can go in alone just to scout ahead to see if there's anything really treacherous.
Like real quietly.
That way we're not alerting everything.
If you think you can handle going out front, this doesn't sound good.
The screaming seems to have paused, but now you can hear it. It kind of resurges a little bit. And whatever that is, whoever that is, it's in pain. It's agonized screams.
Oh my God.
Just screams of terror and pain. And then they kind of fade away again. They are very distant, almost inaudible, but you can hear them now if you listen.
Okay,
Well,
nope, you're right. Let's go
a
together.
Candle. I hand you a candle.
Let's
In
go
case you
together. Me first. Elf behind me with the bow, and then you following up with the lantern.
Yes.
You side by side with the elf.
Okay. Yeah, that way you're like at the edge of the light.
Yeah, I'm still in the light.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so Breck, moving forward.
Okay.
Battle axe in hand.
All right, Breck, as you kind of duck your head a little bit low, to go into the tunnel, you hear this chittering sound, click, like a clicking sound, and off somewhere down those tunnels you hear a hiss.
Breck's like, get ready.
Yeah, and you remember seeing those scales at the top of the stairs when you came in. These sounds do sound like something that some sort of reptilian creature would make.
Something down here. Snake bug.
At that very moment,
Snake bug.
directly behind you, Violet, you're kind of in the rear, you hear this piercing scream. And you look down at this pile of refuse behind you, just beyond Violet, and you see this enormous rat head poking out of the rubble, and then another one comes out of the rubble behind it, and you see these rats about the size of a dog come out of the rubble, and they're like, you can see they're baring their fangs and squealing at you, and they start kind of skittering across the floor towards Violet.
Well, I draw my bow back and I just shoot, man. One of them coming at me.
All right, so now you guys have a choice here. And let me show you something here, okay? So you guys are basically going to describe how you want to handle this, okay? I mean, obviously you want to fight, right? Let me show this little table. If you open up this table, just click on it so it zooms in.
Mm-hmm.
On the very left-hand part of the screen, it says skills and abilities for disposition. So depending on what choice you make, I'm going to choose which type of conflict we're going to do here under intent. So if it's a fight, usually it's like a capture, a drive off, or a kill. Okay, and this will show you next to that in the next column. It shows what you conflict. to determine what your disposition is, which is the hit points of your side, basically. So if it's a kill conflict, the person with the best fighter skill may want to roll, and then you'll add your health to that, and that will be your disposition or your hit points for the conflict.
Okay.
Now, the thing about kill conflicts is there's the killing is my business clause, which means depending on the result of the conflict, each side will have a number of hit points or disposition. The first side that goes to 0 loses. But then we look at how many hit points the other side has, and then we determine kind of what happens. If the other side has a lot of hit points left, then they will have killed all of their enemies. If they only have a few left, well, one of them maybe was killed in the conflict. So it's the killing is my business clause for kill conflicts. They're dangerous, and it is a way to be killed if things go badly. Now, drive off is a little more lenient, of course, if you guys were able to fight these things with an intent to actually just kind of drive them off or to hold them, just to kind of defend yourselves from them somehow, and just get out of their way. It would be a drive off conflict of any risk of death. It would involve risk of, conditions or things like that. And capture, obviously, the intent of that would be to capture the enemy. Notice you can use hunter for capture as well. So if this is going to be a kill conflict, I just want you guys to know that depending on how well you guys do, one or more of you can die in this conflict with these rats. If you choose to drive them off, then the worst thing that will happen is you guys will wind up maybe getting injured, or diseased, or something bad.
How many are there?
There are 4.
I think we should just drive them off, try to get out of their territory. We're obviously in their nest, and if we just keep moving forward while, kicking them off of us, they'll eventually just back off. We're bigger than they are. Well, you guys are.
Yeah, they're the size of like large dogs. You guys, and here's another just concept I want to throw at you guys. Everything in the game has a might rating. Starting from the lowest might at 1, which are just little things like goblins, or usually are might 1 or might 2. Adventurers start at might 3, which would include things like orcs, hobgoblins, things like that. And then there's might 4, and it goes up the scale. And what might does is if your might is higher than the opposing forces might, you always get a bonus die on all your rolls for each might that you're higher than them. So let me just put this in perspective. These giant rats are like might 2. You guys are might 3. You're going to get 1 bonus die on all your rolls during this conflict.
I say kill them.
I have a fighter of 4.
I think we should just drive them off and try and back out of here.
I have a fighter of 4.
Yeah,
I have a fighter of 4.
but if we get unlucky, we could die.
Yeah, that's okay. And I've heart of battle.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's part of it.
We're not going to die against these rats. We can do it.
You guys have some
We
fate
can't do
points,
this,
I know,
come
some
on.
persona points to burn.
Yeah.
You guys are looking for a fight in your newbie adventures. What better to fight than giant rats?
Would Paisley
For your
fight
first
the
fight.
rats?
But yeah, if it is a kill conflict, could be dangerous.
It will be dangerous.
Everything's going to be dangerous. We got to kill some of this stuff.
Oh, and of course
This is the
there is
easiest so
always
far.
the flea conflict. If that would actually be a conflict, you guys running away from the rats and seeing if they can catch you.
All right. Well, then I guess that would be.
I'm okay with fighting them off, but I think what if we kill them? What's the big advantage there? Are we gonna?
They're dead, and they won't be blocking us when we come back.
And it is kind of part of our it's part of mine.
But we might find a secondary exit. We might find a way to loop back into that other cavernous tunnel.
We don't get bonuses for killing the rats?
I'm just
You
trying
get
to
to
think.
live.
If we get to drive them off, what's the what dice are we going to be rolling for that? Is it still fighter?
Yeah, fighter.
It is fighter.
And they
Yeah,
defend
you're
with will instead of health. And, these rats are... I don't think
I'll
that
put up
the
this,
rats are
conflict
particularly
table.
known for their willpower.
Yeah, I guess if it's going to prevent us from getting conditions like later, if we get up against something bigger, I don't know.
So in
Well,
this table here, if you open it up, that left-hand table I was just showing you that determines what your disposition is, or your hit points for your team. The big table here where it says conflict, ability, and skills used by action, it breaks it down into what types of actions used what types of skills for each type of conflict. So if it were a drive-off conflict, a will. So it's a little different for some of these. I think kill and drive off are generally the same, except for defend uses will. Yeah.
You know that? Or we don't
Like
know
I
that.
said, just to give you a general idea, their might rating is a 2, so one lower than yours. You'll get +1 dice on all of your rolls because of. So they're not super tough, but coming at
We kill.
their their nature descriptors are devouring, surviving, and swarming. Doing right now is they looks like they want to swarm.
and then they'll want to survive once we start kicking them in the head. So we give
Maybe
them a
so.
boot to the face, and we'll just be able to get the heck out of here. Caverns are known for their multiple paths. I'm not sure that we want to risk Pingsley dying over these giant rats.
You are a coward.
Kingsley's thinking to
We'll,
himself as he's.
we'll drive that. We'll drive them off. All right.
All right, cool.
We still get a plus. We still get a +1 dice, right?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So I think that's a good choice for your first conflict here. We don't want somebody to die in their first fight. Okay, guys. So
Pingsley would be
so
very
the way we're
upset if he started
I'm okay
missing
with that.
limbs.
I'm okay
Okay.
with that.
All right, so we're going to look at the conflict procedures here. Somebody's going to be the conflict captain. That's usually the person who's going to make the roll to determine what your starting disposition is. And as I said, each rating, um, which represents the side's hit points, basically. And we have places to put this stuff here. Let me get it out here on the table.
Well, just to let you know, I have a fighter 3, if I can help him.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's always good to have fighter in a fight. I'll tell you that. If you don't have it, that's not
Fighter
good.
4.
You know.
What, Alex? Do you have anything you could give him, or
Uh,
I don't think you have any fight, do you?
I have fighter 2.
Oh, you do?
So
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think based on your intent, I'm going to decide that this is going to be a drive-off conflict. Okay. So now we need to kind of make clear what's at stake here. We're going to kind of come up with goals for the conflict. They're going to have a goal, and you're going to have a goal. So what would you say the overall kind of intent here?
Escape the rat nest while descending into the dungeon.
Basically running them, basically deterring them, basically making them run away.
Yeah.
Like driving them off.
Okay.
You know,
drive off the rats.
Yeah.
With overbearing force.
Like that.
How's that sound?
Yeah, exactly.
This is when a torch would be handy. You could just be like, rah, rah, swinging it around their faces and shit.
You can fight with a torch. So their goal is going to be
in their face.
Swarm the walking ones and eat them. Eat them. Oops. There we go.
We're gonna eat them.
Eat if you don't. You can't eat if you don't have no rat teeth.
All right. So the team wants to drive off the rats with force. The rats want to swarm the walking ones and eat them. Eat them. Eat them. Eat them. Okay. So now you guys need to choose a conflict captain. That probably should be the person who's going to make the roll to determine disposition. And again, refer you guys to this table. Might be good to keep this up in a window so you can refer to it. The drive off conflict is going to be a fighter roll, and you will add your health rank to that roll, and that will determine, depending on the successes, what your starting disposition is.
So I have a fighter of 4, and my health is 5.
The rat starting disposition is going to be 7.
I think Breck is our mighty battle leader.
And if you guys help me, I should be able to get 2 extra dice. And then if I use, can I use Heart of Battle as one of my traits? Do I get a?
Yes. Yeah, you can use that. It's once per session. But yeah,
Is
that
it-
Heart of Battle would definitely go. Well, actually, let me look at something here.
I'm just wondering if we want to save some of that stuff.
Yes, you can use that on a disposition roll for sure.
I
And your
don't know.
team members can help if they have fighter.
So
Yeah, right.
when is the versus test in this whole thing?
It'll come up like attack versus defend.
Okay.
You know, in the different
Oh.
combinations.
So with Fighter 4, Health 5, those 2, 1
Well,
dice, and then I get another extra dice.
So
Right?
your base health of 5 gives you a starting disposition of 5 right there. Now we're going to roll dice to see how many more you get. You're making a fighter check, and any help you get with that, you're going to roll the dice and add that successes to 5.
So Fighters 4, I get help from.
So you're going to
2 dice. That's 7.
Yeah, the battle trait for 1, right? Once per session. So check that.
That's 8. Is that correct?
That's about right.
1 because of their. Right. There's another extra.
You
so
don't.
It's 9.
Well, you don't get that on the disposition roll though. That's only for attack actions or conflict actions. You don't get the +1 for might in this.
So it's roll, and it's 8 dice, correct?
All right. Yeah, I think that sounds right. So it's four fighter, 5, 6, and 8. Nice. The team disposition is 11.
Wow.
Okay, so what we do now, and hopefully this doesn't get too chinky here. These little markers, what these are for is to give each individual team member hit points. So since you guys have 11, Lee, you as the conflict captain would divvy out these 11 hit points to each of the team members. Each one of these little star things represents a hit point. So what is that? 2 of you would get 4, right? And 1 of you would get 3, I believe that is.
Unless he wants to divvy it up otherwise.
Right. And you can actually select, you can click and drag your mouse to select these with like a selection box. What I want you to do is just kind of put them on your tokens as you divvy them up. It's like, for instance, like just put it right on the token like that, like I just put on Violet. And so these guys have 7.
My screen's all goofed up. I don't know how to get it.
Oops.
Can't see the circles are too far off the screen now.
Zoom out, Ange. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
How do I do that?
Alt mouse wheel.
Oh, okay, now I'm better.
Also, kind of a quick way of doing this too is you can select tokens and copy and paste them. I usually use like Control C and there we go.
Oh,
So
and this too, he said.
one.
Like,
Do you hear what I said? Like you can select one and hit Control C to copy it, and then click where you want to paste it, and you can just Control V or right click and paste.
what's that little yellow thing again?
6.
Is that the way you want them, Sean? Lined up next to the tokens?
That's fine. Yep.
What are those, Sean? I'm sorry.
These are hit points. So we take that disposition and we split up hit points among the team. So Violet's gonna have 4 hit points. Breck's gonna have 4 hit points. Pinksley's gonna have 3. 2.
Stay
4,
in the back, Kingsley.
Yeah, and 2 of these rats are gonna have 2. 6, or 3 of them are gonna have 2. One's gonna have 1. So this shouldn't be too bad, you guys.
The runt of the litter.
Lee rolled really good on that disposition there.
Now remind me, just to be absolutely clear, the disposition once we end it determines the outcome of the combat, right?
That's right. So the first team down to 0 loses the conflict. But then you look at the remaining disposition of the other team. If it's above half, um, the losing team can ask for a minor compromise. If it's about half, they can just ask for some kind of compromise. If it's low, like if you only have 2 or 3 left as winning the conflict, the defender can ask for a major compromise, which could include in this situation not death because it's not a kill conflict, but conditions. Like it could, give one of you injured and the other two angry, or
What would
something
a
like that.
minor compromise be?
Maybe one person gets a condition,
Got it. Okay.
or gets a piece of gear destroyed in the battle, or
Got
something
it.
like that.
Okay.
All right, so we're trying to just drive them off, eh?
Right. So here's where we start using these not light conflict cards. You see the conflict cards, Alex? You can click
Yes.
choose on those. I'm just going to drag a couple on the table just to look at them here. And just bear with me, guys. I'm going to explain this once, and it will all click. Trust me. Um, what happens is each side plays 3 types of actions in sequence,
These cards are face down.
and we kind of and we kind of do them in sequence, so left to right. So this would be like the team, and this one in front of it would be the enemy's first action. And we'd like, if this is Violet here, she's taking this action. Breck is taking this action, etc. Keep track of who's doing what.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we do is we flip them in sequence. We flip the first 2 cards to see how they pair up. So for the first action, we've got the team doing a maneuver against the rats doing a maneuver. What you can do to look at the card if you want is you can click on it and then hit Z, and it will zoom in. And we'll show you how maneuver works against other actions, how it works against attack, how it works against defend, how it works against feint and maneuver.
What does the V
So
and the I mean?
V means it's a versus test where both sides roll. An I means it's an independent test. So you just roll your dice and count the successes.
Okay.
And we're just going to kind of play through this, and you guys will get the gist of it. Don't feel like we need to be tacticians here and figure out what's what. The one thing that you really want to keep in mind, though, there are 2 kind of trump cards in this. Think of it as rock, paper, scissors, kind of, in a way, a little more complex. If you feint against an attack, you don't get to roll, and they get to roll their attack and do a number of damage equal to their successes. So feints are terrible against attacks. If you defend against a feint, same thing. Defend does not get to roll. Feint gets to roll and takes the number of successes off the enemy's disposition. So ideally, you want to try to keep these versus rolls so you can mitigate the damage. If somebody gets just an independent roll, which means they just roll all their dice and do that much damage to your disposition, that's bad. You want to be rolling dice against them if you can. And that's kind of like how attack versus defend, or maneuver versus feint. And maneuver is kind of special, whereas if you get a successful maneuver, you can hamper or hinder the other team by giving them a die on their next action. If you get more successes, you can help your team by giving yourself +2 dice on your next action. Or you can do and either do both of those things or disarm your opponent. Like if they have a weapon, they lose their weapon. So we'll see how this all plays out. But just to kind of give you an idea, this is how they pair up. There's 3 actions during a round. We just kind of pair them off one at a time. And then if nobody has lost all their disposition, we start again with another 3 cards each.
And so we do.
So you guys as a team, you need to choose like what actions you're going to take in what order, and you'll lay them out on the table after I've chosen mine.
And so the general idea is that we should be thinking like, what do we think the rat, like what would a rat do in this conflict? Because that's likely what Dad, the GM, would be choosing his cards based on,
Yes.
is what kind of actions
Devouring,
would a rat
surviving, and
take.
swarming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, I'm going to pick my cards, my first three cards, and lay them out at the top here. I'm going to assign a rat to each one. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it might be best to have the hit point tokens on the tokens themselves. That way, you can
Move
click
them.
click and drag and just select the token and the little hit point tokens on them all at once, so we can move them.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna select mine. What you got? The way you guys choose conflict cards is on the right side of the screen. You'll see the conflict deck. If you click choose, you can click on the cards to see descriptions of them, but only one of them should drag for the three that you're choosing, and then you'll put them in order. When you drag them to the table, they go face down. So I'm going to choose mine. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So each of us is taking one action, right?
Well, we're taking 3 actions, and then you'll assign players. It just so happens we have 3 players, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
If
So
there was
we're
a
each
4th
taking.
player, they would take their action on the first action of the next round.
Right. So we're each taking one action.
Right.
Okay.
So see, I'm kind of lining up my rats with my cards here.
How do we determine initiative? In other words, how do we determine where each one goes? What are you doing?
From left to right.
Oh, my little things didn't go with my
what
picture.
Mom, what are you doing?
Yeah, don't put your guy out there yet. Hold on.
Well, my dot stayed behind when I moved my picture.
So I'm
Okay.
sorry, I didn't catch the answer to that. How do we decide who goes in what order?
You decide.
Okay.
But the cards will go off from left to right.
May I go last?
All right, I want to go second. That's why I was moving my picture to card number 2.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Remember, attack trumps feint, and feint trumps defend. So, in other words, use feints kind of wisely.
How about attack on attack?
Yeah, if you feint against an attack, that's bad news. Yeah, and almost always a safe move if you're feeling good about it is attack. Is why not? Best they could do is defend against it.
I attack. So do I line the card up where?
Well, just put them in order from left to right in the order of the actions you want to take. You should be able to drag them out from the choose window, choosing the card. So this is going to be my first card right here, the one furthest to the left, and then action 2, and then action 3.
Mom, drag around Violet and then pull down.
She's fine right where she is. I think that's where they're supposed to be.
Okay. What card are you
That's fine.
choosing?
I have to go down a little bit.
Well,
I have
actually,
to pick a card.
Technically, the conflict captain should kind of get an idea from his team of what they want to do, and then pick his cards accordingly.
Oh, I'm defending.
Well, how do I pick a card?
You go over to the 3 decks on the right, and you click on, and you look at the top one, conflict. You press choose. A little thing should pop up, and you just drag the one you want to do.
But I can't attack, right? Because we're not attacking.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. And Alex,
Yeah,
you know kind of how this works, but the conflict captain should say, "All right, what are we gonna do?" And Alex, you should say something like,
attacking for sure.
"Yeah, I'm gonna defend Violet," and Violet would say like, "I'm gonna pull up my bow and shoot one," or
Yeah.
And then once the captain has a general idea what they want to do, pick your cards and put them out. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so we shoot even though we're not fighting? I'm confused.
Okay, so attacking.
No, we're fighting.
Yes, so attack is still an attack thing. You're literally attacking the rats. Defend is still defending, so you're defending against the rats' attacks. Maneuver is going to either help us or hurt them or both, and that it's going to make it so that their next action is either going to be more difficult or our next action is going to be easier. And feint is when you want to pull something tricky, and if you think they're going to attack, you can feint, and that way they don't deal damage to us, and you deal all the damage to them. But if they defend, then...
Well, it didn't work too well. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're
Or
really
the
fighting
reverse,
still,
I
even though
think.
we're not going to kill them and they're not going to kill us. We're just trying to drive them off by winning this battle.
Right. Feinting is if you think they're going to defend, actually. Attacking is if you think is if you want to attack. And yeah. I personally,
attack,
I think,
Violet attack, Kingsley defend.
yeah.
That's what I have. Yeah.
Okay.
Swinging my axe and
All right.
shooting your arrows and Kingsley defending.
Yeah. So now what we do is we choose weapons basically. So what weapon is Brett going to be using?
What would be better, the battle axe or the sword?
Oh, let's add that
Sword
sword to
and
his deck, I
armor?
guess.
I think I did. Or no, I guess I didn't. Here, I'll
No, you
give it to you.
Maybe a sword with your. Don't you have like?
Oh,
a
I'm
shield?
stealing. I didn't mean to steal. No.
Now, here's the thing about swords, Lee, is you get to choose at the beginning of the round which action that the sword will give +1 success with on a successful roll. So a sword's verse for any different types of action, but you have to choose what type of action. I believe it's for the rest of the conflict, and you get that bonus for that type of action on the rest of the conflict. And again, guys, just bear with me on this. I know it may seem like a lot. Where's the fucking sword? Man.
It's a long sword, you said?
Yep, it's a long sword.
I don't think you have the picture in here.
I'm pretty sure the sword's in there.
It's.
I think.
Holy
The
water.
sword is not in there.
Okay, well, I guess we can just look that up in the gear real quick.
Yeah, it's on the combat table. It explains it on there.
Okay.
Let's see, axe or sword?
The sword gives +1 die with to one action type: attack, defend, feint, or maneuver. The bonus sticks to that action type for the remainder of the conflict.
That applied to everyone or just me?
Just you. You know, I'm going to use my sword for attack for this conflict, or I'm going to use my sword for
Since
maneuver
it's a long
for this
sword,
conflict.
can you use it as a two-handed sword as well?
No, that would be more like a bastard sword, I think.
Okay.
I'll just use my axe, man.
All right, cool. So an axe gives you +1 success on attack and -1 success on defend. I know that by heart. Okay, so now
attacking.
Here we go. We're going to do the first action. I'm going to flip them. All right, it's attack versus attack. So attack versus attack are independent rolls, and this is where it gets dangerous. If one side is all out attacking against the other side who's all out attacking, each of us rolls our combat dice and reduces the enemy's disposition by the number of successes. So Lee, you're going to be rolling, I believe, for I think it's fighter. I'm sure it is, and you'll be able to get help from the others if they have fighter skill.
I'm helping.
Or relevant wise.
What happens if we fail? What happens if he fails and we help?
We get conditions.
But that's how it normally is. How does it work in combat?
I'm sorry, what?
How does it work in combat if we help and he fails?
It just affects the disposition, the hit points of the other side, or your side.
So
your successes will reduce the other side's disposition.
But how
in an attack?
No, but how does it affect? So why? In other words, why wouldn't I help?
There are no twists or conditions during conflict, Alex. If that's what you're asking.
Okay, so there's never a reason not to help.
It's all based on disposition. So your team has 11 hits for disposition. Their team has 7 hits for disposition. And all of these actions are going to either increase or reduce your disposition or the enemy's disposition.
Yes,
you'll see how it works.
My point is there's never a reason not to help, right?
Never.
Okay, then obviously I'll help.
There is no downside. So Lee, you got your fighter to start off with, so figure out what help you get. Fight helps fight, or relevant wise.
So 4 plus each dice from them. That's 6. Any
Right.
other?
You can use anything, like you can tax your nature if you have the persona to add your nature to the thing. Um, Actually, if that's within your nature, you could even use it without taxing it. Hold on. Boasting, demanding, and running. I don't know if this is any of those things. But you can tax your nature with a persona to add your nature to this roll, or you'd be able to use a fate to explode the dice.
You can choose to do that afterwards, though, right?
Yes, you can choose to do that afterwards.
The
If
fate
you
point. Okay.
The
Wow,
rats are going to
dude.
have 5 plus 1 for sharp incisors. They're going to get 6 dice.
Oh, and we also get +1 for our size.
For your might, yes. You guys
'Cause-
have might 3, they have might 2.
Right.
So
So
that's
it's another
7.
Yep.
So that's 7. Right.
7.
That's good.
Okay, so I guess I'll go ahead and.
All right,
So
5
it's
to 7.
If you roll all successes, we kill them.
Or 5, or, yeah, 7 to 6.
Holy cow.
Ooh. All right, so you reduce their disposition by 5. They reduce your disposition by 2.
So that kills it, right?
That's gonna kill a lot of them.
Even the one I'm
Battle
about
axe.
to fight?
So
the battle
Lee,
axe swing. Oh.
so Lee, as you're meeting out hit point damage to your folks here, it goes 1 adventurer at a time until they're reduced to 0. So that 2 damage that you took has to go to you, Breck. So remove 2 of the little hit point tokens from yourself.
Hmm.
So now we're at disposition 9 for your team. Enemy disposition is 2, or for the next action here. We're going to flip them.
Wait,
Kill
whoa,
him.
hold on. Dad, wait, whoa. He
What?
didn't take any damage. Why didn't the rats take damage?
They did.
What? They took 5 damage?
Oops.
What the heck?
What is happening? Hold on.
So they only have 2 left, right?
Yes.
All right, so that's how they're going to do it.
Oh, so those 3 are dead, but this one wants to fight me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is going to be a short conflict because you guys played attack versus their feint. Attack versus feint is independent, so you get to roll your dice. And feint versus attack, do not test feint when played against an attack. So roll your dice, Lee, or Violet.
Well,
it's fight.
We're helping her. So we're helping.
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
So I got 5
What's
plus
your
1,
What's your fighter?
6. My
Can-
fight is 3.
So that's
So I get
3
6.
plus 2 plus 1.
How can
3,
how can
6.
how can Pingsley help with fighting?
6.
I have
Do you have
fighting.
fighter?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Got fight. Yeah.
Ready?
Ready.
Oh!
Damn.
Cow.
All right.
Arrows
Brutal.
fly.
All right. So as you can see, you reduce them to
Twonk.
0, and you guys still have 9 remaining. So you guys have driven off the rats, but they get a minor compromise. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to mete out a condition here to one of you since it's minor. I mean that was pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So I'll be merciful.
We both did
We
good.
performed well. Everybody did good. You know,
Mhm.
it was a good strategy.
We're gonna make Breck hungry and thirsty for that.
Delicious
Oh, wait,
rat
I should be
meat.
fresh, I think. I should uncheck my
No,
hunger.
no. You won't get fresh back for a long time. Trust me.
Wait a minute, I
Um,
thought that we ate and drank back in that room. I forgot to uncheck it.
Right, but you can only get fresh back by going to town, essentially.
But I mean, that can undo the hungry and thirsty, though, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right,
All right,
thanks.
so I'm gonna make Breck hungry and thirsty here. And one thing that we didn't consider during that is Breck was exhausted.
Oh.
Um,
Oh.
but remember that only increases the ob for tests, and he with attacks, it even says in the card ob 0, and defense ob 0, so it really didn't affect that. Um, the defend action in conflicts is ob 3 if it's not a versus test, so that's really the only ob in combat is for defense. So exhausted doesn't really affect you in combat per se, unless there's an obstacle involved. All right, so you have driven off the rats. We'll just move your guys back up here.
Do
We
we
don't need
keep?
the hit points.
Do we still keep the dots or whatever for
Nope.
next fight?
No,
Come on.
I'll keep them. I'll keep them off. They're little tokens. I'll keep them off to the side of the table here.
Come on, we earned that.
All
No,
right,
we
so
want
you
more
drive
next
off
time.
the rats with force.
Trying to line them up here.
Dragging this stuff.
Oops.
All right. There we go.
Good job. Nobody got hurt. Brett got a little hungry. Everything's good. All right, so that conflict makes the grind tick, though. And the lantern loses one. So now we're on turn 7. We're going on turn 8. So what's the plan here, folks?
Continue onwards into the deep.
What are we hearing now?
If you listen very closely, you can hear the agonized screams coming from somewhere beyond that cold room in the limestone tunnel.
Oh, and I hate to ask, but what time are we, like, is there a deadline for tonight, game-wise?
I don't know.
11:30 maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds good.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, let's continue deeper into the dungeon.
All right, so stepping into the limestone tunnel, a slight vinegary tang tingles your nostrils in this slick-walled limestone tunnel. Stalactites and stalagmites form a maze of teeth here. Some have grown together to form pillars. And now you can hear more clearly the agonized wails and other whispers are louder here, kind of echoing through the tunnel. And whatever's causing the terrible sounds must be pretty close by. So we're actually going to move over to here now.
Is that the one, Sean?
Oh, well,
Is-
then I lose my map.
Sorry, I can move it.
So that's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell from where these sounds are coming from. You can see that the tunnel splits before you. It kind of branches off to the left and to the right.
I'm going toward. I think we should go towards those sounds and try to figure out if we can save this person. Sounds horrible.
I agree with that.
So we kind of keep walking down the corridor here, towards the sound of the voice.
Okay. So you get to the split in the tunnel. You're kind of looking to your left and looking to your right. And the floors and walls of this tunnel are very slick. There's even some standing water and kind of mud at your feet. So as Pingsley's shining his lantern, you can see the tunnel kind of veers off and goes around a corner to the north. And to the south, it feels like that's where most of the cold, damp, it's almost a breeze now, kind of blowing from the south to your right.
That would mean running water.
And
Right?
you can still faintly hear the agonized wails coming from somewhere.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick and grab some ice water.
Where does
Hold
the
on.
vinegary smell
moment.
come from?
All around, kind of just permeates the whole place.
Can I tell
go
what that
left.
is? Like, can I tell
So
what's making the vinegary?
yeah, it's more of a spicy kind of odor, something that I'm completely unfamiliar with.
It's not the rotting meat from earlier?
No, no, you're not smelling the urine and stuff back here in the tunnel. It's more of a musky odor.
Well, that spicy odor, I'm assuming, was the rotting meat, right?
No,
Well, then what the heck? What was it?
I don't know. It's weird.
Okay. Um,
So you guys are
Something
looking,
organic, and it's not right.
says Breck.
okay. Uh,
No, I mean, you guys have some choices here. I mean, you can maybe spend a little time to try to figure out what this smell is. Um, you can investigate the tunnel to the left. You can investigate the tunnel to the right. You can once again, try to determine what direction these agonized screams are coming from.
if you'd like, I can. I'm really good at sneaking. It's within my nature. I can scout ahead either, or maybe even both ways, just to get a general feel for what lies ahead.
That's not a bad idea for maybe if you're, sneak up the left passage and check it out.
Yeah, for something like that, Alex, you could technically roll your nature for a scout test, in a way.
Yes, I mean, yeah, that's what I'd be doing is rolling my nature.
Okay, so now the choice is, I guess, if you're going to scout ahead, in which direction are you going to scout ahead?
I can't tell at all what general direction either like the smell or the sounds would be coming from.
No.
I'm
So
back.
here, I'll kind of update your map a little bit here. So it's kind of like the tunnel kind of goes in a little bit, and then it veers to the left and to the right.
Okay.
90 degrees either way.
Did you
Uh,
say which way the voice is coming from, and we'll know which way to go?
I say we go this way.
Which way?
This way.
Okay. So those pinkies are going to scout ahead
Yes.
down into the. Okay. There is a slight decline in this tunnel. It seems to kind of go down. The water on the floor is kind of slowly running towards the south there down the tunnel.
Oh,
Uh,
first though, um, what happened to our light?
oh, I think you need. Oh, that's right. I need to reset the light. Thank you.
How many do we have?
You should have 3. Let me go back to the screen here. Look. It's 2.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna set the lantern down. Is anybody
Okay.
gonna join me?
I'm gonna
Well,
grab. Can I hand you a torch? Would you like to have a torch in your hand? if you're
No,
gonna
I'd
set
rather
that
have a
down?
candle.
Scouting in the dark is. Yeah, there you go. I was just going to say, scouting in the dark would increase the obstacle by 2.
Yeah, I'd rather have a candle. That way it's a very small and easy to put out light.
I'll give you one, okay? I'm gonna
Okay.
take it off my pack. I don't
Okay.
think I gave it to you earlier.
Okay, let's put some light on the candle over here.
It also lasts for 4 turns, which is quite a lot.
Yeah. So is Paisley going to use the candle? And what about the lantern? Is somebody going to hold the lantern?
I'm gonna set it down, I guess, at the entrance, and I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna say, "I'll be right back. I'll see what's ahead."
Okay.
I,
Well,
I,
that
I
that
gotta
would
keep
leave
my
Breck
bow
and
in hand.
Violet in dim light. They're not holding light.
Well,
Okay.
see, that's the point of having the candle, because neither
Sure.
and I don't think any of us have an open hand.
Okay, Alex. So since you're sneaking and kind of scouting, I'll let you use your nature for that scout test. Since it's a sneaky test alone, kind of going down the tunnel. So give me a scout Ob 3. And you're traveling to the right, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay.
One moment.
What's your scout?
My nature is 6.
Can I help him with Pathfinder?
You're not with him. Sounds like he's kind of splitting up from the party here.
Where is
Do you want me to come
there it
with
is.
you?
No, I don't. No, because I don't think that's wise.
So you'll get 5 dice for your nature.
I'll
Yeah,
get
that's
6 dice for
sneaky.
my nature because it's still 6, right?
Oh, that's right. It didn't
Yes.
tax, right? Okay.
It did. Well, it did tax, but it didn't tax down to 5.
I think it did.
I mean, okay, I roll for my maximum nature each time, right?
No. You only roll for the dice you have in your current nature.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When does that reset?
You'll have a chance to reset that in town. And during winter.
Well, that
It's
resets.
fairly rare.
Oh. Okay. I guess taxing
So-
nature is never a good idea then.
Right. Well, so now that you realize that it's a Scout Ob 3 test, is that what you still want to do?
Well, yeah,
I can
because
help you.
I cannot tax my nature this way.
You
I
can.
can help you.
Well, I think you spent your persona, right? You could spend a persona point and double tap nature, which would allow you to roll your nature and add your nature to that.
No,
do
I
that
don't.
with
I don't.
persona.
I do not want anybody to help me with this.
Yeah, he's trying to be sneaky.
What was the ob?
3. He rolled 2 1s.
Are you sure I don't roll my full nature? Because that's what we were doing in Mouse Guard.
No, it's not L. You only get the nature dice equal to your current nature. Let's see, what are your traits here? I don't know if jaded or hidden depths you could use for an extra die.
Oh, yes.
You do have a fate point, and you also have a persona point.
I'm going to use my hidden depths trait. I'm
Yeah,
mustering.
but hidden depth is like the inner strength
Yes,
and willpower of
I
the
know.
halflings.
I'm summoning up all of my inner courage and my desire to help the party and this poor person who's being assaulted. This is an incredibly brave act that I am doing by descending down into the darkness.
Okay. Maybe you should use it against yourself.
Well then, in that case,
And do something stupid.
And
Get a check.
well, I can't use it against myself, but I can use jaded against myself. Obviously, this person is going to be, I'm going out of my way to go and find somebody who's already probably dying, and I'm gonna die myself doing it.
Instead of sneaking, you could just skip down there and be like, "Hey, monsters!"
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, no, it would represent him just doing something kind of stupid, like sneezing, or something like that.
I'm sneaking. Well, really, I think it just represents me sneaking half-heartedly because of this.
Kinda.
I don't want to go. I really don't want to do this, but I think we have to decide which way is the right way. That just seems right. But at the same time, going to the place where this person is probably being tortured right now doesn't seem like a great idea to me.
So Pignley kind of separates from the group and he kind of nods as he's leaving. You can see his candlelight kind of creeping along down this dark tunnel until eventually it's just kind of this shiny, this fuzzy kind of point of light down there in the tunnel as he's going down there. So what are you going to do, Alex? Normally, to use your trait against yourself to get that -1 die, you should have used it before you rolled, but you know what I'm saying. I'd let you do that if you wanted to.
Okay, yeah, that's what I
take
do.
Take the failure.
That's what I'll do.
Need some rations.
Yes, you may. Go ahead and get rid of your hunger and thirsty and mark the rations off. Good thinking. All right, so here's what happens, Pingsley. So you get a check. You marked it. I see. Um, you feel not like 20 feet in. You look back and you can see your companions just kind of faintly back there, the lantern sitting on the floor. As you turn back and take your next step, the floor falls beneath your feet. And you hear this kind of crumpling sound. And you can see in your dim candlelight, it looks like there is a pit covered with a thin section of tarp or canvas. Give me a health check, please.
Oh Lord.
It's
Okay.
an
You
ob
should not
2
never
health
go
test.
alone.
Ob 2 health test or fall in the pit.
Okay.
How healthy
How
are
do
you?
I use my belief against myself, and what does that do for me?
You just have to narratively do it, and it will give you a persona point at the end of the session.
Okay. Um. How to put this? Okay, so my belief is the strength of my friends makes up for my cowardice,
Mostly.
mostly. Um. No, maybe I should. You know what?
You
Screw
could
it.
do that to just forego the roll and fall in the pit. I guess that's what you could do that.
No, you know what? I'm gonna use. Um. Can I use Jaded against myself again?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is just becoming so ridiculous. I'm traversing down this pathway. I'm constantly looking behind myself like, maybe they came for me. Maybe
Yeah.
they didn't come for me. They thought that I could do this.
And
This
then
is
the
just
floor gives away.
absolute. Ah! And so I'm going to use Jaded against myself.
Okay. So you get -1 die in your roll. It's a health ob 2.
Oh.
And you get a
And
check. And you
hold on.
failed
Let me. I could use my fate.
to re-roll the 6.
Not a bad idea.
Re-roll the 6. I'm gonna do
Ooh, you might
that.
get another 6. Come on.
I'm gonna
He's
do
using a
it.
fate.
I'm gonna do it. No!
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Oh no.
Okay.
All right, so you fall down in this pit. It's pretty deep, man. And like I said, it was covered with this canvas, so you've kind of created a hole. The canvas is kind of torn away from the small stakes that had it anchored there. And you fall down into this pit, um, and the walls are all slick, and there's water kind of running down the walls, and the floor is all slimy. And you stand up and you realize, oh, you sprained your ankle pretty badly. You're now injured. Um, and
Have a
wow,
rope.
it's pretty far up there to the top, and the walls are very slick. You're kind of
Alright.
wondering at this point how you're going to get the hell out of here.
We hear this.
Yeah, you hear like this thud and this kind of squeal, like ah,
So,
and then you don't see
Like
his candle.
Violet.
You don't see his candlelight anymore.
yeah,
Like,
so,
I think we may need to walk down here and check and see what happened to Pingsley.
yeah, I kind of just like quickly run down
There, you got the rope on you?
tunnel. Yeah, I'm gonna set my bow down and get my rope out of the pack, and then I'm just gonna toss that down there, and I guess we could hold on to it. And try to
First
get
of
help
all,
to-
who's picking up the lantern?
Ooh,
Yeah, otherwise you guys are going to be in the dark.
And we'll lose a
Wow.
lantern.
you don't have that.
No.
So
I mean, not you.
I'll pick the land. I'll pick.
Can
pick
you?
Oh,
the-
wait a minute. In fact, the lantern goes out.
No, I just did that, Dad.
Okay.
Okay. Mom could actually hold the lantern by putting her bow into her
Well, Angie,
quiver.
you can carry your bow in one hand. You just can't use it with one hand. So you can have your bow carrying around with one hand. I have no problem.
I know, but I have to set it down to get the rope out, don't I?
No.
Well,
no,
I carry. Well,
not
let's just say
really.
I carry the lantern with me. I'm sorry, I forgot about it.
Okay.
I run back and grab the lantern and run back.
All right, the elf runs up to the edge and shines her lantern down. You see the You see Pingsley looking up at you with this terrified look in his eyes, and he's kind of holding his leg. He's limping.
I'm
I'll grab the
injured.
rope. I'll grab the rope and lower it down and pull him up.
All right, you do. You pull him up out of the slimy pit.
Well, that wasn't a very good idea.
Oh, you found the trap.
Yes! Good job, me!
Thank you. That was prevented the whole party from going down. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, good thing you went alone.
It looks
Not
like
optimal.
it looks like on the other side of this pit, about 15 feet across, the tunnel just drops away. It looks like it goes vertical down. Like there's another kind of actual big kind of pit or sheer face beyond the pit itself.
Are the voices getting louder, or does it seem like we should have went the other way?
All you can hear now is just kind of the trickling of water, because the water kind of coming down this tunnel behind you is trickling off of this edge and into the pit a little bit, and kind of around the pit a little bit too, down this sheer face that's just beyond the pit that Pingsley just fell into. You do occasionally hear like the little chattering and chittering coming from somewhere that's echoing throughout the tunnels here.
You guys want to continue down this path?
Insects or something.
You gonna
maybe.
be okay, Kingsley? Can you walk okay? How's your leg?
Oh, yes! I will be just fine. Don't you worry. We halflings have a great constitution.
Yeah. Pingsley's injured, actually, so I think the effect of that is, what is it? It's bad. Let's see, injured.
Gonna slow us down, isn't it?
-1 dice to skills, nature, will, and health tests.
All right. Well, okay. So I've got the lantern in one hand. I'm gonna just set that down. I'm gonna put the rope, get the rope from Brack and put it back in my bag. I think we got him out okay. So then I think we're gonna maybe just keep heading down this tunnel towards
Okay.
the.
Well, to get past the pit, kind of down, to get a look at where the tunnel almost looks like it ends, but you can see that it continues, but at a very steep, almost sheer angle downwards. To get over there to take a look at it, looks like you kind of skirt along the edge of the pit to get by it, but it would be probably pretty dangerous because it's pretty slippery.
Maybe we shouldn't go much further. What's down in the pit? Can we see what's in this room, or what's going on?
It looks like it was just excavated out of the rock and dirt, and it's just a bunch of slimy water down and kind of in the bottom of it. But it looks like it was definitely fashioned by someone, because it's partially covered now by this tarp.
Interesting that they chose to try to trap this particular way, right?
Says Breck.
Why would they do that? Why would they put a trap here? Just for fun? Maybe there's something on the other side. I don't know. Maybe we should take a look down the other pathway, though. It's a little dangerous on the ledge.
Yeah, let's go up the other way.
Okay.
Especially since he's not getting across that freaking crazy ledge there.
Yeah, and we'll just bypass the trap and go further up.
All right, cool. All right, so we have the light.
The left way.
So how's the light situation? So the elf's still carrying the lantern. Pingsley, you've got your candle still?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Hey, Alex, put the that big old pit at the bottom of that tunnel.
Okay, so Pingsley's tragic fall into the pit costs a turn. So the grind progress. Next time it progresses, it's going to be the 8th turn, and everybody's going to get a condition. So here's what happens. You guys kind of traverse the tunnel a little bit to the north. It kind of jogs to the left a little bit, and that spicy smell starts getting a little stronger now. You begin hearing some like chattering or chittering sounds, almost like, at first it sounded like insects before, but now it's a little closer and you can hear it better. It almost sounds like talking, like some kind of strange, but very strange tongue, whatever it is. And now,
a flask of oil ready, Sean?
Sure. So you got your battle axe in one hand and a flask of oil in the other.
I think sword in one hand.
Sword. Okay, right.
Flask of oil in the other hand.
Well, what about your shield?
No shield.
No shield. Okay.
Shield.
Can I use something like
I'll drop it.
He drops the shield. Okay.
Can I use my lore master or arcanist or something to try to figure out what the language is?
We're getting to that. So as you hear this, you kind of stop and like you're listening, and you realize the tunnel up ahead. You can see a very sort of dim, flickering light, almost as if there's like torchlight or firelight up ahead, wherever this sort of ticking sound and hissing. It's hissing sounds now.
Jesus.
Creeping along. The passage.
You've got your candle, right, Kingsley?
Oh yes, of course I do.
I've got my flask of oil.
The passage kind of widens a little bit, and you can now, Breck, since you're in the front, you kind of catch a glimpse of the chamber ahead. Well, I don't know about horror, but here I'm going to describe it to you.
Chamber of horror or ahead? What did you say?
Both. The chamber of horrors that lays ahead.
He said horror, so
Horror ahead! Please stop.
Horror ahead.
So you see several things seem to be squatting about this small chamber on a pile of frayed rugs, and they're all huddled close to a brazier of red-hot coals. They seem to all be playing some sort of gambling game that involves tossing a handful of etched bone slivers. And immediately you recognize what they are, Breck. They're kobolds.
Oh.
You know them as cunning, halfling-sized lizard creatures that thrive underground. They love to set vicious yet primitive traps. And this is what the smell is. This is what they smell like. But they're all kind of huddled close to this brazier of red-hot coals. They haven't noticed you. And they're playing this gambling game where they're tossing these bone slivers. And this room is also full of broken stalactites and stalagmites. Because they seem to, because they're all growing together in places. You guys have navigated through these stalactites, right? But it looks like they've kind of cut them down here for sort of a clearer field of vision. So there's sort of this sense of a thicket of jagged stumps between you and them. And a lot of the rubble seems to have been piled in the eastern end of the chamber. And so now all of you kind of see this as you come up behind Breck and you see these things sitting there. There are 6 of them.
Kobold casino.
And Breck, you notice off in the corner, almost just outside of the light of this brazier that they have, a small human girl hiding in the shadows. They don't seem to know that she's there. You see her kind of crouched up behind this. These stalagmites.
They don't see us, correct?
They don't what?
Don't see us, correct?
They do not see you. They seem to be happily playing with their bones, and they're arguing and pointing at each other. You see one kind of smack with the other one against the head.
Do they have white scales?
They actually have reddish scales, but these appear to be males. They have like purple plumed, like going up the back of their neck and onto their head. They have these plumed scales kind of going up. You can tell that they're males, Lee.
I'll stop the party and put my finger to my mouth, like quiet, and I'll crouch down and I'll say to everybody, I'm like, they're around the brazier. I've got a flask of oil. You get ready with your arrows. We'll light them on fire and then, hit them with the arrows and attack them. And
how many are there?
So predictably, Breck turns around and he starts talking about taking them out or something.
How many are there?
6.
We've got the jump on them. We should throw the oil on them. They're around that brazier. Be able to shoot your arrows, and
How many braziers are
that
there in
little
this
girl,
room?
that little girl needs her help.
There's kind of one big brazier with glowing hot coals in it, and they're all kind of huddled close up to it, playing their little game.
Yeah, perfect, man. Throw the me and Pingsley pitch the oil. You fire the arrows, and yeah.
We're just gonna try to blow them up.
Oh,
And kill 'em.
somebody had a glass thing, right? Like a jar or something. Did somebody take something like
Yeah.
that?
Or
I
you
have
can
a
drink the
bottle.
water and fill
A
I
it.
have
bottle.
a bottle filled with water.
Okay, we can dump the water, fill it with oil, and then we can use that as sort of a Molotov cocktail.
With oil? I don't know if
Yeah.
that's gonna. If we throw it, I guess,
Oh,
into
yeah,
the
right on-
pit. Is that what you're saying?
Into the brazier. They're sitting around a big fire.
If
So
we
if you
throw it
the oil,
if we throw it directly at them, then it'll set them on fire, and then I can probably sneak around while you guys are hacking at them and kick the brazier over on them.
Yeah.
I'm sneaky. I'm small.
So as you guys are kind of discussing, you guys are kind of still back in the tunnel away from this chamber, but you can see, you're looking out of this kind of dark tunnel. And you're kind of like shielding your lights right where you are, but they obviously don't see you. But there's another 20 or 30 feet of tunnel before it opens up into this chamber where all these stalactites are cut off, and you see them on the far side of the chamber. And the little girl kind of huddled in the corner, she looks frightened. She doesn't see you either. But then you begin hearing these screams, just terrible, just heart-wrenching screams coming from what appears to be another tunnel leading out of this chamber across from you, to the north. And there are these, and you hear like these cracking sounds, like crack, crack, and the scream is ah.
Oh Lord, we gotta take care of this quick. So,
Pingsley,
could
pitch
you
the
like
oil.
throw it?
I pitch the oil,
Oh.
and you shoot the arrows.
Okay. Well, what if Pingsley pitched the oil? I shot the arrows, and you had your battle axe out or something in your hand. Because they're gonna come at us. You're gonna need a weapon, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I've got my sword, so I can pitch
Okay.
the oil with one hand and have my sword ready.
Okay. So what are you doing, Pingsley? Exactly. I'm on board.
Oil.
I'm gonna I'm gonna set up the Molotov cocktail. I'm gonna hand it to him. He's gonna throw it, and then I'm thinking maybe it would be wise after that for you, Mom, to just start firing into them, and
Yeah.
then Lee charges forward, and I will sneak around and kick the brazier onto him.
So this is a fight, right? We're not. This is
Let's
not
get-
a
yeah. Let,
push them away. We're gonna fight them.
Yeah. Well, again, you guys kind of describe what you want to do, and then I choose what type of conflict it is.
Oh.
Let's
and
get
again, and I can show you the conflict thing again here. Just so you
Okay.
can get an idea.
Well, this is the plan.
let's
My
get-
bow's drawn.
kills on them.
Sorry, what was that, Lee?
I throw an oil.
All right. All right, so it looks like we're going to have some kind of fight here. So is the intent of this to capture them, drive them off, kill them?
We need to kill them.
I think it's to kill them.
Oh man, kill them, man. They're
Sounds like
torturing.
Breck wants to kill them. All right, so Breck, this is perfect because you wanted to stop at 11:30. Breck, you kind of get your flask out, right? You got your sword in one hand. You ditched your shield back there in the tunnel. Maybe Alex, make a note of where he ditched the shield in the tunnel back there in case you want to pick it up later. Breck, you're like, okay, let's do this. And you take 2 steps forward, and your shin snags a tripwire, and you hear this cacophony of broken bits of bone and metal start kind of rattling and filling the chamber. And Breck, you actually trip and fall to your knees. You kind of drop the flask of oil there in the mud, and all the kobolds turn, and they all stand up, and they all start kind of pattering sound. They almost sound like birds. And they have been alerted to your presence.
This is why we had 2 flasks of oil ready.
Yeah. Well, you didn't lose
Now you
it,
can
but
throw your butt
it's
right.
there on the ground. But yeah, you triggered the tripwire trap, and you actually not only triggered it, but you blundered into it, Breck. So now these kobolds start making these sort of chattering, chirping calls that are very loud, and they're probably calling for help. And they now are alerted to your presence. The little girl kind of creeps further back into the shadows over there, and there's going to be a fight next session.
I say Kingsley would automatically throw the oil, right?
Dad, is your computer an hour behind or something?
Well, I think Lee's an hour ahead of us.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
You know,
time difference.
Got it.
Yeah, we played for 2.5 hours. That's cool. And this would actually be a good place to stop because we're going to go into another conflict here. It could take a half hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Check for traps.
Yeah. You know.
Check
and for something like a flask of oil attack, I'll have to kind of figure that out. It'd probably be like probably be like a.
Is he hurt?
Might give you some extra successes on.
From the trap or whatever?
He is, and he gets -1 dice on all of his rolls. Poor Pingsley. The sprained ankle. All right, so next time we'll start off with the conflict with the kobolds, and that kind of sucks that you blundered in that trap. I was really hoping the elf would check for traps in the tunnel before you decided to run in there.
Yeah, but that would take an action.
Yeah, so now you've alerted the whole fucking the warren of kobolds to your presence.
In so much trouble when we come back to play this next Thursday.
Yeah, I can definitely see a flea conflict in your near future, probably.
Oh Lord.
We had such a great plan.
You never know, man. It just depends on the dice. You pitch the oil, you start firing arrows. I'll pitch my oil. We'll see where it ends up.
It really does depend on the dice, and it depends on the cards too. You have to think like kobolds, like just to give you an idea here, and a little bit about kobolds, because you got hunter, maybe a little more. The nature descriptors for kobolds are trapping, lurking, and swarming. So they also have swarming. And honestly, I mean, if you guys are going into a fight or drive off conflict, these kobolds using their swarming kind of thing, they're probably going to try to their goal would probably be to capture you if there's a fight.
Okay, well, real quick before we
end.
Which
could be interesting.
Wait, real quick before we end, I pushed Captain Jack back away from the trap.
Captain Jack, poor. He's afraid, so he can't help. Otherwise, he might be able to help in scouting and stuff like that.
He's gonna snap out of it next turn. He'll snap out of it and savage a kobold.
Yeah. Violet, you're gonna have to sing Captain Jack a nice song in camp.
Oh yeah.
To help him with his fear.
Song about killing the kobolds.
Yeah, but the dog's not gonna be much help in a fight, honestly. It's not really a fighting dog, but for scouting or hunting or something like that, he could. So actually, let's do end of session stuff here real quick, and then we'll call it. So let's go back over here. Oh, check this out, you guys. I found this. This came from a board game or something, but I'm going to use this map because look at the names of shit on here. It's awesome. All right. Just for the hell of it. All right, so end of session, we're going to award fate. If you acted on your belief, earn 1 fate. So let's take a look here. Anybody act on their belief tonight?
Yeah.
Not too much, no. I didn't
protect.
I don't think I protected anybody.
Yeah, hesitation kills. Only the brave and decisive will be victorious. I think
Dude, you totally did that. You did not hesitate and blundered into the trap. So you get a fate point for that. Alex?
The strength of my friends makes up for my cowardice. I think that moving forward into the trap for my friend's sake, definitely.
Yeah, and I think we actually talked about your belief with the whole pit situation falling in there. So yeah, you should get a fate as well. Angie, did you act on your belief tonight?
Well, no, because mine's protecting those who would protect me is how I roll. I don't think I protected anybody.
Yeah, and when you act on your belief, you should kind of mention it during the game. With what you're doing, you're saying, well, my belief is this, so I'm going to do this kind of a thing.
I didn't have a chance to use it.
Okay, so did anyone work towards your goal but didn't accomplish it tonight?
Yes, I guess I
What's your goal, Alex?
I will be sure to be the last one harmed by whoever or whatever ransacked the house of 3 squires.
Actually, I think I worked towards my goal, but I ended up blundering it by being the first one harmed by the freaking kobold's pit.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I don't know about that.
I don't know either. In Brax's, I will bring punishment to those responsible. I think we're
More
about to get. Yeah, we're about to get to that, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that one for next time. I think you'll be able to complete it or at least work towards it.
Well, I will protect Captain Jack from harm. I did it at the very last minute, I swear. I just remembered to do it at the last minute. From the trap.
You. I don't know, man. I don't think
Oh,
that's
man.
fair.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
that's kind of reaching.
Man.
All right,
Well,
so
I had no chance to use
we're
it.
gonna
However,
work
actually, let me ask about my goal, though, real quick. I will be sure to be the last one harmed by whoever or whatever ransacked the House of Three Squires. I think that the rat conflict that we had kind of... I think that
Yeah, but the
portrayed
rats
how...
weren't the ones that ransacked the house. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think it should be clear to you guys now who ransacked the house. Anyway, moving on to persona.
Do you mean...
If you play against your belief in a dramatic fashion, earn a persona. I don't believe anybody dramatically played
Wait,
against their belief.
whoa. You skipped over instinct.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, playing an instinct earns a fate point, right? That's what it says on our character sheet.
End of session. Oh, yeah, it's not on here.
And I did. I played on my instinct.
Let's see. What does it say? Spin point. Checks. What is the wording of it?
Instinct. Playing an instinct earns a fate point.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll put that on here.
Okay.
So it's basically.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So when I went into at the very beginning, I did, try to scout that first room. I did ask for description of the item, if it was worth anything. I don't know
always
if that
drawn to
I was
beauty.
drawn to beauty, so I don't know if I thought that bow was beautiful that I
Right,
took.
but the thing
Or
is, you
not.
have to play your instinct, kind of like Alex did. So it has to be connected to an action that you took during the session. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't have a chance.
It should be related to a role of some kind, usually.
Just...
Okay, so did anybody play against their belief in a dramatic fashion? I don't think so. Did you? Let me see.
Hi.
I don't know. Did anybody play against their belief?
No.
Okay. If you accomplished your goal, earn 1 persona point. I don't think anybody quite accomplished their goal. Okay, so now we're going to go kind of around the table here. We're going to choose the MVP. The player who really came through for everyone or had a moment of glory during the session.
Probably Brack.
Can I nominate myself for being the one who boldly went forward and explored everything?
Yeah, I mean, we decide as a team. Next, we're going to choose the team worker, the player whose support kept everyone going despite the costs or risks.
That I think would be that I think would be Breck. He single-handedly pretty much demolished the rats, which stopped us all from getting, like conditions and eaten.
He did completely wreck the rats, for sure.
I don't know. I wrecked them too.
I would say that would be kind of the moment of glory.
You think? Okay.
Yeah, just pushing.
Yeah,
the rats
he did
back.
wreck most all of them.
All right, so Lee, you get a persona for MVP, I would say. And then when it goes to team worker, the player whose support kept everyone going despite the costs or risks.
Oh. I didn't know it was worded like that. Well, then I nominate myself for that.
I hand out a candle and I used my rope. That's the only thing I think I helped with.
I fell into a pit.
I think exploring down there and sacrificing his halfling leg for the.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Alex, you get a persona for team worker. And then if the table wants to award one persona to characters who are role played, where they maybe invoked their belief or goal or instinct, or played their alignment with drama and entertainment value, we can do that.
Dude,
This
Lee,
award
you
isn't always
were
given out, and everybody can't be given a. It's called embodiment.
embodiment, yeah.
You
Dude,
know,
Lee, you
or
were constantly charging forward, just like your character's beliefs and everything. You were just, we gotta kill him, we gotta kill him, we gotta kill him. It was good. I think you deserve
Kill,
that.
kill, kill.
Yeah.
all right, yeah. So yeah, Lee, get another persona for embodiment.
Thank you. I have the barbarian.
Excuse me.
All those points will be come in handy here for the battle that's upcoming.
I agree.
All right. Are we all
Yeah.
set then?
Yeah, persona's great. Yeah, we're all set in the session. So
All
next
right.
session we'll have the kobold fight and see what happens.
Good game.
All
Good
right,
game
guys.
indeed.
That was
That was very fun.
All right.
Enjoyed
fun.
that.
All right. So I look forward to Call of Cthulhu tomorrow.
No, that's gonna be fun. You're gonna be on, right, Alex?
Yes, I will be ready for that. Yep.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen.
All right.
All right.
Talk
Good
to you
game,
next
guys.
week.
All right.
Have a good night, Lee.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye,
Game.
everybody.
Good game and good night.
Good night.